and that it's only for homes in upper middle class or expensive neighborhoods. And that's not the case, especially now, not with Simply Safe. Simply Safe has blown to smithereens the whole notion that home security is something most people can't have. Simply Safe makes a system that'll protect every door, every window, every room in your home for far less than you would think. And that system connects to a professional monitoring staff, people on duty all the time, that notify the local police department when the alarm in your house is triggered by an intrusion or by a fire, whatever it is you're guarding against. Now, just to give you an idea how well priced Simply Safe is, the monitoring service, 24/7, starts at $14.99 a month. Not to be critical of the others, but they start at $50 a month, not $14.99, and many of them require that you sign a contract for a year or two. There aren't any contracts in Simply Safe. You know what else they don't have at Simply Safe is wires. Wires reduce the cost. Wires reduces the complexity. Wires make troubleshooting problems even easier. Wires make operating the system, installing it even easier. They eliminate the need for a site survey, and there's no construction necessary to install Simply Safe. They use Wi-Fi instead of wires. Wi-Fi signals run throughout the house, connecting all the doors and window sensors. And this is state-of-the-art technology. Substantial savings because of this. And this week, you can save 40% off the Simply Safe system that you choose, and they'll throw in a free HD camera when you make the purchase this week. You get it online, simplysafeusa.com, 60-day money-back guarantee, 2 months to try it. Simplysafeusa.com is the website. Here's quickly Ron in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. Hi.
Hey, Rush. I'm thinking there's an Arlen Specter out there somewhere on the Democrat side, whether the House or the Senate. These guys got really easy jobs, brother, and it's pretty cushy. And I'm thinking Nancy Pelosi might be afraid of that happening. That's my personal opinion. You can tell me what you think.
Well, I think something like that is more a tantalizing hope. I don't know of a prominent, Arlen Specter was a prominent Republican in the Senate who bailed, and I don't know that there's a single prominent Democrat anywhere who is going to switch parties to undermine this impeachment effort or this overall effort to get Trump thrown out of office. I think, Democrats, they like their kneecaps, and they like their lungs functioning, and their eyes, and they want to be able to spend their money. So I don't.
The courage to fight
and the talent to succeed.
Rush on the EIB network.
Bold & Branch, known for making the incredibly soft organic cotton sheets that millions of Americans love, has for the holidays their 12 deals of Christmas with deals on their organic cotton signature soft sheets that get softer and softer over time, and deals on their bedding and gifts. For 12 days, Bold & Branch will have different products on sale, and every day they'll add more deals, so you'll always find a great gift for somebody on your list. Their packing is beautiful, no gift wrapping required. And get a set of sheets for yourself while you're at it, folks. Don't forget yourself. Now, if you order by December 23rd, it's guaranteed to get there in time for Christmas with free shipping. Go every day during the 12 deals of Christmas at baldandbranch.com to see the new deal every day. It's spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com. That's baldandbranch.com.
Private autobiography. This holiday season, give the gift of a lifetime, the most precious gift ever. Your legacy in a beautiful handcrafted book capturing your life for your family and future generations. I'm Roy Mowat, founder of Lifetime Private Autobiography, created to capture my father's stories and voice through regular personal interviews. Don't just take my word for it. Ali in Boston gave her father his very own private autobiography.
It's hard to give your father something. Like he gave me everything. The idea that I could actually give him a gift that had real meaning, that wasn't just some silly throwaway gift for another year of a holiday. So I know I'm giving him that gift of remembering really happy times. You can't give someone more than that. I literally cannot believe the price. It's very inexpensive for what you get.
Give the gift of a lifetime and contact us on privateautobiography.com or call 833-200-7474. That's 833-200-7474.
Mom, Dad, I'm getting married.
That's wonderful, dear.
Congratulations. So have you decided on a date?
Yes, this Saturday.
What? Are you serious? We need to plan. There's so much to do.
What about the church? The flowers, music, food, inviting everyone?
You would not want to be faced with those hurried decisions then. Why do that to your family with your own final arrangements? I invite you to sit down with us at Gunderson's to pre-plan your funeral. Pre-planning allows you to make thoughtful decisions with a clear mind. Give us a call at Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services, Fort Dodge.
This morning, a woman reached out. A man stepped up. Somebody sat down with 16-year-old Stephen and taught him better study habits, and suddenly, toughing it out till graduation seemed to Stephen a pretty good idea. We're realizing the way we live our lives can impact the way others live theirs, their education, their income, their health. We're not just wearing the shirt, we're living it. Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Well, it's been a blast today, folks. It always is. And tomorrow, already Friday, open line Friday tomorrow. So already looking forward to that. Thanks so much for being with us, and see you tomorrow. Have a great one, folks.
Alpha Media's 10th annual Bikes for Tykes event, sponsored by R&J Material Handling, W&H Co-op, and Fort Dodge Ford Toyota, is winding down. We've been asking you to bring new bikes into Fort Dodge Ford and our studios for kids served by Upper Des Moines Opportunity. Some of you have responded, and we're very grateful for that. We have upwards of 400 kids who need bikes this Christmas, and we have until Friday, December 13th to make that happen. Unless we all step up, there'll be a whole lot of kids who wake up Christmas morning to find very little, if anything, under their tree. If you would, please talk to your family, friends, and coworkers. See if they'll pool their money together to buy just one bike for just one kid. That's all it takes. One bike at a time for one kid at a time. Remember, our deadline is Friday, December 13th. Cash donations can be dropped off at our studios at 200 North 10th. We accept checks, too. On behalf of the children, thank you for making their Christmas
if you're a
dreams
gearhead
come
or
true.
not, you'll enjoy the Under the Hood Car Show every Saturday afternoon from 2 till 4 on the voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400, KVFD.
A high-stakes meeting on trade at the White House. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump meeting with trade advisors amid reports that the U.S. may offer to delay the latest round of tariffs on China.
The U.S. and China have a 3-day deadline to dodge tariffs. On Sunday, both U.S. and China have scheduled a round of tariffs that would affect a new group of goods. The U.S. slated to impose a 15% tax on an additional $160 billion in consumer goods from China, and China threatening a tax on $75 billion worth of U.S. goods. But today, the White House is signaling they are closer to a deal. The president saying China wants a deal, but also he wants a deal.
Fox Business Network's Hillary Vaughn on Capitol Hill. This as the House Judiciary Committee continues hours of debate on articles of impeachment. Democrats who have the majority are expected to send the articles on to the full House later today. Meantime, the president hosting a summit earlier on family medical leave, highlighting a proposal that awaits a final vote from lawmakers. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
President Trump encouraging Congress to approve the legislation, which includes 12 weeks of paid parental leave for federal workers.
With this important step, we are delivering, and we're really delivering like nobody's, I think, ever delivered before.
Roughly 2.1 million federal workers will gain access to paid leave when they adopt, foster, or give birth to a child once the legislation passes. The provision is contained in the National Defense Authorization Act and has received bipartisan support. Lisa?
Thanks, John. The president also urging reforms to the existing Family Medical Leave Act. On Wall Street, a rally continues amid these reports that the U.S. may have reached a Phase 1 trade deal in principle with China. Nothing confirmed yet. The Dow's up 198 points. America is listening. Fox News.
Ordinary bar soaps may do a good job of cleansing. Easy. Done and done. But with Dove, you get a whole lot more. Because every bar is made with 1/4 moisturizing cream. So you get a gentle clean that leaves skin feeling soft, smooth, and nourished. Upgrade to Dove, the bar that gives you more. It cleanses and cares. Plus, it's #1 recommended by dermatologists. Now that is money well spent. Dove. Get more from your beauty bar.
When Allstate agents and employees go to work every day, their #1 priority is protecting what matters most to you. For military veterans, that instinct to protect also comes naturally. No wonder thousands of veterans build good careers with Allstate. And now, Allstate is ranked the #1 employer on the 2020 Military Friendly Employers list. You're in good hands with Allstate.
For career opportunities or to get a quote, contact Allstate today. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Democrats running for president have more chances to debate in the coming weeks if they make the cut.
The Democratic National Committee has announced 4 upcoming debates in the first 4 states holding presidential contests. Drake University in Des Moines will host candidates on January 14th, a few weeks before the Iowa caucuses. 3 debates are scheduled in February in Manchester, New Hampshire, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Charleston, South Carolina. At least 7 Democratic candidates have qualified for the next debate next week in Los Angeles. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Today is Election Day in the UK, where the fate of Brexit may hang in the balance. The Prime Minister pledging to take the UK out of the European Union by the end of January, but the opposition Labour Party leader wants a new Brexit referendum.
It's cold and wet here, but at polling stations I visited, no sign of a deflated turnout. The most important election of my life, one man told me, saying Prime Minister Boris Johnson is a self-serving liar who has to go. Among Johnson's supporters, one woman said he can lift a cloud hanging over this country by delivering Brexit. But it's been an ugly campaign with allegations of lying and racism. One voter telling me he looked at the options on his ballot paper and felt despair. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
No one has ever paid this much for a house in California. But it's not just any house.
Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his...
It's the mansion seen in the TV show The Beverly Hillbillies, built in the 1930s and sold for about $150 million. The LA Times says the buyer is Lachlan Murdoch, executive chairman and CEO of the Fox News parent company, Fox Corporation. President Ronald Reagan once lived in a home on the property that sits behind the main estate in Bel Air. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
From the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones. 28-year-old Fort Dodge resident Blair Foy entered a guilty plea yesterday on charges of first-degree robbery and second-degree theft. The charges stem from an incident on September 14th where Foy allegedly pulled out a handgun and ordered the victim to get on his knees. Foy then allegedly took the man's car keys, over $300 in cash, and a cell phone. Authorities say Foy attempted to force the man into a vehicle with him, but the man escaped as another party that was present distracted Foy. The victim's cell phone was recovered from a vehicle Foy had been in on South Lucas Avenue in Eagle Grove. Both of the charges against Foy are felonies. He faces up to 15 years in prison for the 2 charges. Community Christian School of Fort Dodge will be having their 3rd annual holiday craft show and vendor fair this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event is on the campus of Community Christian School and is a free admission event. They will have 30 crafters and vendors there to showcase their products. All of the proceeds will go toward the creation of a scholarship fund at Community Christian School. From Radio Iowa, public health officials will be at a northern Iowa high school before Christmas break to test students, staff, and others who may have had close contact with a student who's been diagnosed with tuberculosis. Administrators at Hampton-Dumont High School sent an alert to parents and guardians on Monday that a student at the high school had been diagnosed with tuberculosis. The school's district nurse is working with officials from the state, Franklin County, and the local hospital to come up with a final list of people who will be notified that they should be tested. Jenny Swart is Hampton-Dumont school nurse.
TB can get quite complicated as in the length of time. We could have it in our body and we would actually develop it, but we can identify it and we can treat it. There is a state program and the testing is free as well as the treatment is free.
Swart says it's hard to say how the student contracted TB.
It's transmitted with close contact with, coughing, sneezing, talking with, the person that's actually diagnosed with that.
Hampton-Dumont Superintendent Todd Leto says the district's website is being updated to keep the community informed.
What we wanted to do is kind of have a common message for everybody, and that's why we've started a link on our homepage, at the school. So we will be getting information out there, and then Jenny, as she's hearing more information from County Public Health as well as the State Department, we will be putting information out there. We just want to have a central place where everybody can go and get the same information and hear it from one source.
Symptoms of active TB include coughing that lasts 3 or more weeks, a fever, and unintentional weight loss. In sports, college basketball on tap for tonight as the Iowa State Cyclones host the Iowa Hawkeyes tonight at Hilton Coliseum, a 7 p.m. tip-off. You can hear the Iowa call of the game on K97, and you can hear the Iowa State call on your home for the Iowa State Cyclones, True Country 540 KWMT. The UNI Panthers in action tonight as well, coming off a win against Colorado on Tuesday night. They'll be on the road taking on Grand Canyon University, an 8 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game on your home for Panther sports in North Central Iowa, KVFD, AM 1400. The Fort Dodge wrestling team in action tonight, hosting Des Moines North at 6:30. Tonight is senior night. The Dodger seniors will be honored before the meet. That's your Alpha Media News Update from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom. I'm Rob Jones.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. We'll see mostly cloudy skies here for this afternoon, with temperatures holding rather steady and winds out of the northwest between 5 and 15 miles per hour. Tonight, a slight chance for snow showers here late, mostly cloudy and a low near 18. By Friday, a chance for snow early on, then mixing with rain late, cloudy skies, a high around 35. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 28.
PrEP is HIV prevention in the palm of your hand. One pill, once a day, can lower your chances of getting HIV. PrEP provides a high level of protection against HIV when taken every day. While on PrEP, you should visit with your healthcare provider every 3 months. With Iowa TelePrep, you can do that on your schedule, on your terms, from wherever you're most comfortable. You'll visit with a pharmacist using a private, confidential app on your tablet, smartphone, or computer. And medications are delivered right to your home, quickly and privately.
MyPrep keeps you healthy.
MyPrep is peace of mind.
MyPrep is safe, easy, and delivered.
It's accessible, and it's confidential.
MyPrep is affordable.
It's freedom.
MyPrep is responsible.
Iowa TelePrep is here for you. PrEP, HIV prevention in the palm of your hand. One pill, once a day to lower your chances of getting HIV. For more information about PrEP and how to get started with Iowa TelePrep, go to prepiowa.org. That's prepiowa.org.
Ready to create your own income with your own home-based business where there's no such thing as getting laid off? If a billionaire entrepreneur spent 5 years and $20 million searching for the next big trend, wouldn't you want to know what he found? If you're serious about making money from home without having to leave home, then write this down. www.goherenext.com. You decide your income. Get the facts now. GoHereNext.com.
Michael Devine
the Doctor of Truth.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to confess?
At AM 1400 KVFD.
Not the Chuck Berry version, by the way. That's Leonard Skinner. Denny Ploutz is here, and I figured he'd like the Leonard Skinner version better than Chuck Berry of Run, Run, Rudolph. This is AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. I'm Michael Devine, the Doctor of Truth, and with me is yet another Senior Vice President of Truth. That'd be Denny Ploutz from Growth Allowance. What do you say there, big fella?
Morning.
All right, it's not morning, but you're okay.
Good morning. Makes me feel better about 3 o'clock to say that.
Well, it's 2:12, Denny. You and I are getting the same thing. That old age thing is getting us, I think.
Well, it's all how you take things. I was deer hunting this weekend.
Oh, what a surprise!
And I told my lovely wife that I was only going to hunt a half a day. And when I got home later than she thought, and she questioned being late, I said, "Well, I said I'd hunt a half a day. I thought that was 12 hours. That's not true. That's not true. So it's all how you perceive things.
It's all how you perceive things. So Iowa State and Notre Dame at the Camping World Bowl.
Huge surprise.
Huge surprise for me as well.
I had no desire to go back to Memphis again, which everybody in the world thought they were going to be going to, but it's a real coup as long as, I hope it's a competitive game.
It might be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trouble with bowl games is you have so much time to prepare, and, you have time to change things up a little bit, and you never know who does a better job at that.
That's right. Of course, you got these young guys running around a couple nights before, shaking off their practice blues.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I just hope that Iowa sends a big crowd, and which is I think part of the reason they're there, big part of it probably.
Yeah. I remember the 1981 Rose Bowl when Iowa went out there for the first time in years and years and years. There were 30,000 Iowa fans in the stands.
Yeah,
30,000.
Yeah, it's good for Iowa.
It is,
because the announcers make such a big thing out of it, the bowl committees, and as long as somebody doesn't do something stupid, we look good.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing, though, with the state of our population in the middle of winter?
Yeah.
30,000 people.
Yeah.
Robert Ray was still the governor. And if you remember, he said, last one out of the state, turn out the lights.
Was that the game that their star Ronnie
Harmon
had
fumbled
3 fumbles?
Harmon, and hadn't fumbled the entire year. I think he fumbled like 4 times in crucial periods.
Yeah.
We always kind of thought maybe Ronnie was rolling the dice there a little bit, but
it was odd.
It was a little odd, and we were crushed too. By I can't remember who we played now. I don't remember who we played.
Well, it'll be interesting.
I think it was Washington.
It'll be interesting in the Holiday Bowl with Iowa matching up again with a Pac-10 team.
Yeah.
The adage used to be that they had difficulty because they didn't have the speed every time a Big Ten team went out there. But I think that's probably changed considerably since those days that you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Pac-10 is still a good conference. They've got some good teams out there. But I am surprised that USC and UCLA, they're both in Los Angeles. Talk about fertile recruiting ground.
Yeah.
And they're 90 miles north of San Diego. They just haven't had good years for a long time. And when I was young, O.J. Simpson played at USC.
But I think, too, media has changed that somewhat. Recruiting is much more national now because you can get any game you want to see practically. You can get any place.
Certainly you can.
And, in those days, you didn't get to see out here. You wouldn't see a Pac-10 team.
No.
Now.
Unless it was in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, now a kid can go to Iowa and still have his family and friends and everybody watch him on TV every weekend.
Yes, they can. Yeah.
So I think that probably has made recruiting nationally much easier.
All right, we're going to talk Growth Alliance stuff here in just a minute, but I'm going to put you on the spot, of course.
Okay.
Iowa State tonight. Who's going to win the game?
I don't even know if there's a spread on the game or whatever, but clearly Iowa State should win the game.
Yeah. Iowa has Garza, but one player can't carry the team.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so early in the season, you really don't know. I think against Seton Hall, Iowa State did a good job with whatever they were, 7 foot, 6'11", 6'10".
Big guys.
Some size. It'll be interesting. You know, Iowa State's got a 6'6" point guard. Iowa's got Bohannon.
Yeah. I think that's cool. His dad used to be the quarterback down there.
Yeah. It'll be fun. It'll just be a fun game to watch, and I'm sure it'll be a zoo.
It might, you know, and the Hawkeyes may very well surprise a lot of people.
Oh, they might. I wouldn't doubt it a bit if they won the game tonight.
Okay, our guest is Denny Plautz of the Fort Dodge Growth Alliance. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. If you'd like to join the question and ask our guest a question, just call 515-955-1400, 515-955-1400. Or if you want to ask me how I keep being so doggone good-looking as old as I'm getting, you can do that too, 955-1400.
And I would talk about something I know more about than what we've been talking about in the real world. But it's a nice time maybe just to think a little bit about what's going on the last year in the area.
Well, what is the biggest thing that's happened with the Growth Alliance in the last year?
Oh, I don't know. We've done a lot of process improvements, but if you really think about it, there's a lot of stuff going on now. You had, CJ just completed a $50 million expansion.
Right.
Nestle spent $12 million out here on their treatment facility, which should tell people something. Mid-American, new district offices this year.
Was that this year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
White's Transfer and Storage, the Crimmins family put their second 50,000 square foot warehouse up, the second one in the last 2 years, which I think is a result of ancillary business that's been created, like from the Prestiges and so on. By the way, I took a tour of that plant we could talk a little bit about yesterday.
Oh, well, is the younger generation of Crimmonses running the place now, or Denny and those guys retired?
Yeah, the two sons and Denny.
Okay, and Denny's still there.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But and we've seen a lot of expansion with existing companies, without a lot of investment. So housing is taking off. Of course, the mall is interesting in its infancy here.
Yeah, that I wanted you to address that because Sears, of course, is. I don't think there's anything left of it. Last time I drove by, there was still
I was by there today. They are hauling out the metal and the debris in trucks, so they're loading it up and moving it out now.
Are they? Okay.
Here's some statistics that I found not too long ago. I may have mentioned it on the show, but I don't think so. And this comes from Iowa Workforce. But the average manufacturing job in Iowa pays $73,377.
Wow.
A year. In Webster County, what would you guess it would be?
40.
$85,555.
God, who's paying that kind of money?
Well, a lot of these new companies are, and some of the older ones. I mean, this is on average, management and everybody.
Right.
But it still is a comparative number to the state. And would you realize that Iowa has the third largest percentage of people employed in manufacturing in the country?
I would.
Okay.
That's on a per capita basis, I'm sure.
Yes. Behind Wisconsin at 9.3%, Indiana at 9%, and Iowa's 8.4%.
Okay.
And I don't see it here. I wrote some numbers down. I thought I brought them, but if you look at the growth the last 5 years, which would help to explain what you just asked me, Webster County, manufacturing growth was about 2% statewide. In Webster County, it was 7%. So both in terms of wages paid and job growth, I think Webster County in the last 5-6 years has done quite well.
All right.
So, but anyway, I went through Prestige the other day. I was
Yes.
very surprised how Jerry Null gave us a 2.5-hour tour from where the hogs come in to where they get frozen and shipped out.
I would have loved to have been along on that tour.
Oh, very, very interesting. A couple of things that really surprised me were that he indicated 60%, which I could see being in there, 60% of the workforce is female.
Is it really?
Would you guess that?
I wouldn't have guessed that.
In fact, I stopped and visited with a woman that was in the early part of the process, and without getting too descriptive.
Yeah.
But she worked for 32 years at JCPenney.
Really?
And after they closed, the first job she got was over there, and she just loves it.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, loves it. And but a lot of mixed ages, a lot of female. It was kind of interesting, too. In walking through there was hardly anybody that wouldn't look you in the eye and say hello.
Sure.
Very seldom would somebody not directly engage with you.
Mm-hmm.
But highly mechanized, a lot of robotic cutting.
Oh, I bet.
And I asked Jerry, I said, they're killing 6,000 a day now. I said, if this were when Hormel's was here, how many people? They've got 770 employed over there now.
Wow.
And are still hiring.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, how many people to do a 6,000 kill would you need under the old 3-story systems like it when Hormel's was here back in the 70s? And he said that it would be about 1,500 or about double probably to do the processing they do today.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a whole different world back there.
Yeah.
I still know guys who were meat luggers for Iowa beef. Now that was work.
It had to be a lot harder work, and there's some hard jobs in this plant.
They loaded them over their shoulders. I mean, it was they took the beef off the truck or put it on the truck or put it on the truck more precisely by hand. I mean, they quarter sections.
And now everything is on hook or conveyor, and you handle it by moving it around, but it gets cut by individuals and also gets cut by robots, if you will. And the physical nature is more to move it around and get it set so the robot cuts it properly. They use infrared to line things up.
Sure.
But it was really interesting to go through.
What do they consider capacity if they've got 775 working there now? Where would they like to be?
I think that to do 10,000 hogs per day with one shift, they need to be somewhere between 900 and 950.
Well, I think when we first heard about Prestige, they were even talking as high as 12 to 13.
Yeah, I think they ended on about 950, and
then
then they would have to go to a second shift.
Sure. They just have the one shift now?
Yes.
The day shift.
Yep. Nice plant, very windows all over the place, very bright. Very impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet it is. It looks impressive from the road. All I've done is drive by it, of course. And wish we could have had that in Webster County, but I guess I wished and wished, and that just didn't happen.
Well, I was, I had not been over there before and been through it. This was the first time, so
right.
So it was interesting. It was also interesting to. This is probably wrong, but I don't think I'm far off. I don't think there's any part that is not utilized in something in making value-added products.
Oh, I watched my grandfather.
Other than the blood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But like heparin, the blood thinner.
Mm-hmm.
Is it heparin or heparin? Yeah, is made from parts.
Mm-hmm.
The heads go to China and Mexico. Liver, heart, intestines. There's a lot of product that gets made from the parts. Hardly any waste.
Oh, yeah.
And
the old farmers used to do that. You're old enough to remember, Denny. My grandfather, he slaughtered a couple of hogs. I watched him when I was a little real kid. And they'd use everything. The brains, everything.
Yep. Yeah, we used to.
Those folks didn't waste anything.
I did a lot in those days. My grandfather farmed. My dad grew up on a farm, and then I had some of my mother's relatives farmed. Her sister, and so between them, instead of getting our stuff at the grocery store, we would go and butcher a hog or cattle, and then we'd split them up between us. That was a big deal to have a chest-type freezer in those days, so you could take a quarter and, and split it up with the rest of the family. And I always wondered how my dad could afford to eat a T-bone every noon. But that's why.
Yeah.
So, and he'd grill out, I'm guessing the majority of the noon hours.
Oh, yeah. He ran a business up there of some kind, didn't he?
He ran, yes, he actually bought the welding shop and ran it, and then he built from scratch a propane plant.
Oh.
It was Allied Bottled Gas, and then it became Northern. He sold it to Northern Propane and stayed on as manager, and which is my legacy, which then became Internorth, which became Enron, which fast forward, that's my mother and my background.
Yeah, haven't been up to Pokey in years. How's that town doing?
Demographically, I'm not sure. It looks good. I think leadership up there has done a good job with their Main Street and everything, but the county per se is one of the highest loss population counties in Iowa, and has been for about 3 or probably 4 decades.
Oh, these statistics are dated, but Calhoun County and Calhoun County and Pocahontas County had the oldest population per capita in the world. They had the highest percentage of people over 65 and over 85. I mean, now you're not talking a big population base there, but
well, it'll be interesting to see, because I think that last year I said the biggest project, or the most important project that we had, was the completion of Highway 20.
Big.
And we've talked before about all these counties up northwest of here and west were losing a lot of population, and so were 4 counties in southwest Iowa that were more than 30 miles from a 4-lane. It'll be interesting now over the next decade to see if there's real change as a result of being located on that 4-lane.
Sure.
I believe there will be as a result of it, and it won't necessarily be here, but it'll be along the corridor, which will benefit us. So, and it's a big deal. We're looking now. We are actually exploring transload facilities now out in Iowa's crossroads of global innovation. Transload facilities where trucks, you can transfer product from truck to rail or rail to truck. And Highway 20 makes that a much more viable opportunity now. For example, companies like CJ may buy product in China and ship it by rail and then onto a truck someplace in the U.S. And so anyway, I think all of these kinds of things, Highway 20, transloading facilities, rail improvements, whatever, technology improvements, access to broadband and things are what are going to be necessary, along with the quality of life things, to keep this area growing.
Yeah, I hope the city gets going on that broadband.
But I mean, that's what's out there, and if we don't have it, we will be at a disadvantage.
Yes, we will. All right, Denny Plautz has been our guest. He's the CEO of the Fort Dodge Growth Alliance. Come on, give me your prediction. I'm not going to let you get away with that vague stuff. You're just going to have to go with Iowa State.
I'd say Iowa State by 6.
6?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to reiterate the half day, 12 hours, that did not actually happen. Okay.
Now we're all good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Denny.
Michael Devine, the mayor of Manville.
It's a fancy title for a part-time job.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
All right, the news is next. KVFD Ford Dodge. Merry Christmas, baby.
Merry Christmas, baby. You sure did treat me nice. Merry Christmas, baby. You sure did treat me nice. Now I feel just like living in paradise.
Hey guys, this is Larry King. Are you sick and tired of prostate pills that don't work? I've got great news for you. I had prostate problems that were driving me nuts. I tried several different natural products. None of them worked. One day I heard about Prostagenics. It beat over 157 other prostate supplements in independent lab tests and was rated #1 most powerful prostate supplement in the world. So I got some Prostagenics, and boy, am I glad I did. Now my prostate troubles are a thing of the past. I sleep like a champ. I feel like I did 20 years ago. Do yourself a huge favor. Do what I did and get yourself some Prostagenics.
Prostagenics comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee, so you can order absolutely risk-free. So go online or call 800-600-2020. 800-600-2020. If you call in the next 6 minutes, you can get a free bottle with a Larry King TV special. 800-600-2020.
Pick up the phone right now.
Oh, domestic violence is so frightful, but DSOC is so delightful. And when you've no place to go, we have a home, we have a home, we have a home. When violence shows no signs of stopping, and all you do is keep sobbing, we can offer a safe place to go. We have a home, we have a home, we have a home. Now you finally feel safe at night. You have support and new friends that are formed. Your future is feeling bright. The clothes that we gave you are warm. Your children are no longer crying. And now there will be no more lying. On your own, it's time that you go. You have a home, you have a home, you have a home.
With your KVFD news update, I'm Rob Jones. 28-year-old Fort Dodge resident Blair Foy entered a guilty plea yesterday on charges of first-degree robbery and second-degree theft. The charges stem from an incident on September 14th where Foy allegedly pulled out a handgun and ordered the victim to get on his knees. Foy then allegedly took the man's car keys, over $300 in cash, and a cell phone. Authorities say Foy attempted to force the man into a vehicle with him, but the man escaped as another party that was present distracted Foy. The victim's cell phone was recovered from a vehicle Foy had been in on South Lucas Avenue in Eagle Grove. Both of the charges against Foy are felonies. He faces up to 15 years in prison for the two charges. Community Christian School of Fort Dodge will be having their third annual holiday craft show and vendor fair this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event is on the campus of Community Christian School and is a free admission event. They will have 30 crafters and vendors there to showcase their products. All of the proceeds will go toward the creation of a scholarship fund at Community Christian School. In sports, college basketball on tap for tonight as the Iowa State Cyclones host the Iowa Hawkeyes tonight at Hilton Coliseum, a 7 p.m. tip-off. You can hear the Iowa call of the game on K97, and you can hear the Iowa State call on your home for the Iowa State Cyclones, True Country 540 KWMT. The UNI Panthers in action tonight as well, coming off a win against Colorado on Tuesday night. They'll be on the road taking on Grand Canyon University, an 8 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game on your home for Panther sports in North Central Iowa, KVFD, AM 1400. The Fort Dodge wrestling team in action tonight, hosting Des Moines North at 6:30. Tonight is senior night. The Dodger seniors will be honored before the meet. For KVFD from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones.
This is AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge, 236. Let's do the weather. 26 degrees right now and cloudy. It'll be mostly cloudy this afternoon, high maybe of 40. But I think the National Weather Service is getting a little bit too big on that number. I don't think we'll get to 40. Overnight, mostly cloudy with a low of 18. Tomorrow, some drizzle, maybe freezing drizzle, snow before 3 in the afternoon. Then drizzle again later on in the afternoon, and a chance of snow and freezing drizzle after 5. That's tomorrow into Friday night. Saturday, there's a chance of snow before noon, sunny with a high of 17. Sunday, there's a chance of snow afternoon, sunny with a high of 15. On Monday, sunny with a high of 25. Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 25. And on Wednesday, it'll be sunny with a high of 30 degrees. Right now, 26 degrees at AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. Obituaries this hour brought to you by Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services at 1615 North 15th Street, Fort Dodge. You may contact Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services by calling 515-576-7128 or online at www.gundersonfuneralhome.com. Rhonda Andrews has passed away. Rhonda Andrews has died. Services for Rhonda Andrews will be at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon at Gunderson Funeral Chapel, with visitation from 1 to 2 just before the service. Obituaries this hour brought to you by Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services at 1615 North 15th Street, Fort Dodge. You may contact Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services by calling 576-7128. That's 576-7128. All right, this is AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. It's 2:38, 26 degrees. David Osterberg of the Iowa Policy Project is next.
At Capital One, you can open a new savings account in about 5 minutes and earn 5 times the national average. Banking with Capital One means 5 times the savings to help pay for your perfect honeymoon.
Not a fan of ziplining!
Or 5 times the savings toward your family's perfect vacation.
Big fan of water rides.
It's time to help make your savings goals come true. This is Banking Reimagined. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Rate comparison based on FDIC national rate. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
It's coming. Flu season will be here before you know it. Don't let the flu get to you. Go to Daniel Pharmacy now for your flu and pneumonia shots. If you need a prescription filled, remember, Daniel Pharmacy offers you medication services, including medication adherence and synchronization, immunizations, and private consultation. Daniel Pharmacy carries durable medical equipment, including lift chairs, scooters, walkers, and more. Daniel Pharmacy on the corner of 12th and Central Avenue, Fort Dodge. Daniel Pharmacy, caring for you and about you for over 50 years.
Michael Devine, the mayor of Manville.
It's a fancy title for a part-time job.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
That's right. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. I'm Michael Devine, the Doctor of Truth. Absolutely. Joining me now is the Professor of Truth, and that is David Osterberg with the Iowa Policy Project. How you doing there, David?
Hey, Mike.
All right, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
All right. Are you looking forward to Christmas, or do you guys down there near Johnson County even practice Christmas anymore? Some kind of ceremony to the Babylonian god of fire?
Or some Wiccan thing. I'm sure that's what everybody
I
does
wouldn't
here.
say Wiccan. I'd just say pagan.
Yeah, no.
Pagan. Yeah. No, the Iowa Policy Project is a group in Iowa City that is dedicated to research-backed information, fact, in other words, that they hope will affect public policy, and we're going to see how that works out again today with David Osterberg. We're going to talk about flooding, and it's just a coincidence. I had Steve Peterson of the Webster County Farm Bureau here yesterday. The Farm Bureau, of course, is the great Satan to David Osterberg and others. But I should have you on the air with Steve a couple of times if I could, because Steve is somebody who doesn't let emotion get in the way. I mean, he's not somebody who pounds the table and gets carried away at all. He sticks to the facts, ma'am, and that's a good thing. But anyway, he brought up the fact that on the Missouri River side of the state, in the southwest section that was flooded so badly again this past year, some of those little towns may never come back.
They may never. That's right. And a part of it is just, what are you going to do to try to make people be able to survive again? And that's why we wrote a paper that we released today about flooding in Iowa. And, of course, we have great information that says the reason we're getting many more of these is because of climate change.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and believe that it's a Chinese plot if you want, but you're going to be talking underwater pretty soon. We're getting a lot more flooding. There's just no question about this. Rainfall in Iowa has been going up over time.
Well, I wouldn't call it a Chinese plot. Well, let's see. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I think that somebody said it was.
Somebody said it. Well, actually, for all the screaming about climate change, and I would not attribute that characteristic to you. You're not a screamer. But China is still the biggest polluter, and they have no plans to stop polluting.
Oh, well, but the first thing is right. The second, I'm not so sure of. Remember, China has much more wind turbines, many more wind turbines, much more capacity than we do. They have much more solar than we do. They have really a lot more electric cars than we do. And now the reason for that, when you and I talk about this, may be that you can't breathe in Chinese cities, but nonetheless, they're going faster on doing something about climate change in terms of total numbers than we are.
Steve told me something interesting yesterday. I don't exactly remember. What he told me that was, in the last 5 years, there has been an explosion of luxury car sales in China. BMWs, Mercedes, all those sorts of things.
Probably has been.
I don't know where all that money is coming from in China.
Well, it's coming from the fact that they have a distribution of income problem like we do. You know, here in this country, people tend to drive luxury cars too.
Yeah.
And that's because working class people just don't have very much money because it's going to the top. Some of that's going on in China as well. So, yeah, but you can't say that that has anything to say about climate change.
No, you
All
really
you can do is look at the numbers.
Because what's really important is that we impeach Trump. I'm sorry. I'm getting political.
You are, and I'm trying my best not to. And but again, when you look at climate change, okay, let's just go back. We have many, many more floods now in Iowa than we have before. There is more rainfall. No one disputes that. There is more of those rainfalls which are incredibly hard, like 5 inches overnight and someplace in Iowa. Those things happen, and we know we can measure and see if they're happening more often than they were before, and we say, yep, they are. Now, is that associated with climate change? There's good evidence that it is. This water comes out of a warmer Gulf. It goes into a warmer air. It comes up the Mississippi into where we are in Iowa, and it rains out, and you get these explosions of rainfall, and that's what put people in Hamburg, Iowa, underwater. And that is going to continue to happen. It's not the Corps of Engineers doing something wrong. It is climate change, and we need to respond to that. Now, we've done that in papers that the Iowa Policy Project has been putting out as recently as September of this year. This paper was a bit different. What it said is that given that we're going to have many more floods, maybe we should figure out something to do, because the people who get hammered the most tend to be lower income people, and we need to figure that out.
Well, do you think that that lower income people and older people really count for one pinch of anything?
Well, no. If they do, that's one question. Should they? That's a different question. And we're doing the should they.
All right. You know, there's I see all these different concepts of morality out there, and really, there's a big difference, of course, between what's legal and what's moral. But I have noted of late that there doesn't seem to be any form of real people-centered morality. It's what's good for the economy or what's good for my political party.
Yeah,
I'm being a cynic again, I know.
I know you are, but I mean, sure. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't argue that we ought to, be a little biblical and take care of the least among us. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't show just what the present the present policies do. We have FEMA, and FEMA will come in and try to make you partially whole. But if you're in one of what we're calling frontline communities, mainly people with lower income, sometimes people with color, sometimes households headed by a woman who then isn't going to have as much in the way of income. If you're in one of those, just equality of FEMA is not going to be good enough. It's because they can't afford to wait like I can as a middle-class person. If FEMA's going to take time to get me whatever benefit I'm supposed to, or what I'm entitled to because of this natural, quote, natural disaster, I can afford to wait. They can't afford to wait. And it comes in forms like buyouts. Because I can't afford to wait for that FEMA buyout, I sell to somebody local soon, and he's the one that makes the money on the thing. You just have to figure that out, that if we're going to have more floods, and we are, then you have to look at the present policies we have that's try to help people after that happens.
First of all, ladies and gentlemen, the report that David Osterberg is referring to is on my Facebook page. It's an executive summary, actually. I'm sure you can find the full report if you want to do that. But I've mentioned several times to you over the years, of course, David, that my son and his wife and my 3 grandchildren live in Cedar Rapids.
In Palo? I thought they lived in Palo.
Well, he works in Palo, but he actually lives in Marion.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, the point is, I used to go down and visit them in 2008 and 9. Wow.
Yeah.
What a mess. They took me to a Mexican food place, and I love those places, and I remember which one it was. But there were older, bigger 2-story houses, and the flood level line was right up to the 2nd-story window. The floodwaters had receded, and that neighborhood, not that house, not that block, that neighborhood was scheduled for demolition.
Yeah.
My God, how were we able to pay for all of that?
Well, exactly. There's a big question. How should we? What's coming to us just because we're American citizens? That's one question. But given that you have these programs, they just don't work the same for everybody. I mentioned you were talking about the fact that there are going to be a bunch of buyouts in that neighborhood. Higher income people can afford to wait for that, but lower income people can't. And I just sent you something on your email, which the difference between equity and equality, okay? And what you see, and it's kind of a famous thing, equality. You have these 3 kids looking over the fence to watch a baseball game, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Got that?
Yeah.
Each of them is on a box, and the box is the same height. So you got this tall kid. Yeah, he's way over the top. He can watch everything he wants. The second kid, shorter, can see. Third kid's a little guy. He can't see a damn thing. So that's equality. Everybody gets the same. And so equity would be the big kid takes the box he's on and gives it to the little kid. He can still see over the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Second kid already could. And now the little kid, he can watch the ball game too. That's equity, and that's what we're calling for. If we're going to have more of these floods, we got to think about our policies, and they've got to be more equitable, not just equal.
Well, I'm trying to copy this cartoon because it is poignant.
Isn't it?
It really is. I'd never thought of it in quite this way before, but I'm not there yet, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a computer pro. Let me tell the old story once again. Whenever there's a computer problem here at the radio station, the younger people gather together and say, "Hey, why don't we ask Mike about it?" And then they all laugh.
Right.
You're apparently unaware that I have feelings, David.
Same thing happens here. I mean, that's one of the reasons we had to hire a 20-year-old in our organization.
Well, that's all right. I mean, I think that happens all the time. David Osterberg is our guest at AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. He is a Well, he's really a water quality specialist.
And hence flooding kind of fits into the whole
fits in there,
bailiwick.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And
it kind of leads me to my next question. You have, for a good part of your career, from what I understand, talked about the polluted rivers and streams in the state of Iowa. Has all this flooding caused the problem to be worse, or what are the consequences of polluted water and extensive flooding?
Great question. Like everything else, it depends. But when you get one of those floods, 5 inches of rain, 6 inches of rain overnight, and you've had that in several communities in Iowa, first thing that happens is their sewage treatment plant can't work anymore. It can't get the water into the system because there's too much. Consequently, you put raw sewage right into the river. That's not good for water quality.
I don't like it. It doesn't sound good to me.
Same thing happens with these large confinement, these large hog facilities. You get a flood, we're going to find the manure that was applied to that land and sometimes the lagoon off into the nearest water source. So, no, flooding is not good for water quality. And a guy here at the university, Larry Weber, made that argument really well, and he got nearly $100 million from HUD, the people who do housing,
Right.
because not only were we getting places like Dubuque getting flooded from these events, you were also making the quality worse. And since you're doing both, he had a plan to utilize both quality and quantity, and he pulled out this very large grant.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And Larry Weber is the guy's name. He's really quite talented.
Oh, sounds like it. Where's he live?
Well, I think he lives on high ground. No, but he was running the flood center at the University of Iowa.
He was running the flood center.
The flood center, they have done such work, not only measuring water quality, but also they can tell you for I don't know how many cities in Iowa that if you tell them what the river stage is going to be, you go to this computer program and it shows you how much stuff's going to get flooded and whether you're in it or not. They've done really wonderful work.
Well, that's terrific. It seems odd to be talking about flooding in Iowa. And Iowa is what I'm trying to say, not in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember this sort of thing when I was a young man.
No, and I think that's right, and I think that's a lot of stuff is coming with climate change, and it's not just the fact that Massachusetts beaches are going to be, 10 inches higher. They're going to come in much further because the ocean's 10 inches higher. It's also every place is going to have some kind of effect from this. Whether you're a polar bear or on the coast or in the middle of the country. Climate change, not good. And it's not good simply because we humans have tried to make our civilization. And when we did that, we did things like saying, well, let's build a bridge over that river. How high do we need to make that bridge? We don't want to make it really high and spend extra money for nothing, but let's base it on the last 50, 100 years of data. Except that's not any good anymore because the amount of water coming down that stream is different now than it used to be. We don't remember those floods because they didn't happen nearly as often.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth.
So it's not just bad memory.
It's not just bad memory?
Nope. That'll make people, you and my age, feel a little better.
Oh, I was going to say, I had such a good time in the 70s, I don't remember the entire decade. All I remember is I came out of it with a smile on my face. That's all I really remember.
Good. Good for you.
That's what I thought.
And you gave up cigarettes, so that's good, too.
I gave up a lot of things. That's why I'm still here. There's plenty of people who are saying, why didn't you keep it up there?
Not too many. People probably like you, or otherwise.
Otherwise
they don't, I guess.
They have no taste. All right, this is AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. We've been talking with David Osterberg. What else do we need to know here, David?
No, nothing, but this report was done by, a graduate student here at the University of Iowa. What we do is, because we're right across the street from the university and because a bunch of us used to be professors over there, we get hold on, I got to stop that. We get the Urban and Regional Planning Department to give us a graduate student. We have to pay for it. We don't pay as much money as we would need to if we were paying the full boat, but it's a good system because it gives them real experience, and at the same time, we get some of our research done.
That's the good thing.
That's the good thing. And
All
so
right.
the author is Joe Walensky, and he's a second-year graduate student in urban and regional planning, and he did a nice job for us.
Well, if you find that study by Joe, send it to me, will you?
Yeah, well, no, we did. That's the one. We just sent it to you.
Okay, good. All right, outstanding.
So it doesn't have my name on it. You know, it's a water quality paper, but it doesn't have my name on it because Joe did nearly all of it.
I was going to say, I just assumed it was by David Osterberg, ladies and gentlemen.
By Joe, in this case.
Can I wish you a Merry Christmas, or you have some other odd pagan festival
I'm
down there?
good with Christmas.
You're all right with Christmas?
Sure.
All right. Well, Merry Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas back.
Well, I hope to talk with you again next week. Then we're going to be off for a couple of weeks, of course, over the holidays, but we will be back, certainly. This is AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
Mom, Dad, I'm getting married.
That's wonderful, dear.
Congratulations. So have you decided on a date?
Yes, this Saturday.
What? Are you serious? We need to plan. There's so much to do.
What about the church? The flowers, music, food, inviting everyone?
You would not want to be faced with those hurried decisions then. Why do that to your family with your own final arrangements? I invite you to sit down with us at Gunderson's to pre-plan your funeral. Pre-planning allows you to make thoughtful decisions with a clear mind. Give us a call at Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services, Fort Dodge.
Mom, Dad, I'm getting married.
That's wonderful, dear.
Congratulations. So have you decided on a date?
Yes, this Saturday.
What? Are you serious? We need to plan. There's so much to do.
What about the church? The flowers, music, food, inviting everyone?
You would not want to be faced with those hurried decisions then. Why do that to your family with your own final arrangements? I invite you to sit down with us at Gunderson's to pre-plan your funeral. Pre-planning allows you to make thoughtful decisions with a clear mind. Give us a call at Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services, Fort Dodge.
Some measure success by Italian suits, corner offices, and luxury yachts. Farmers measure success differently. It's breathing fresh country air, taking care of the people you love, and knowing how to measure success in your soybean acres. That's smart. With Credenz soybeans, you get a precise variety bred to fit your acres. And that Credenz variety comes with agronomic expertise and local insights from your BASF team. So plant your sign of success. Talk to your authorized Credenz retailer or local BASF seed advisor. Always read and follow label directions.
Having a high-yield harvest matters. Having a positive ROI matters even more. NK's broad genetic portfolio was developed using advanced technologies and traits, plus the latest data analytics, so we can recommend products that deliver the value you need to help maximize your operation's profit potential.
In this area, check out S27 M8X brand. This variety offers first-class performance in any growing season. Ask your NK retailer about S27 M8X brand and other top-performing products.
All right, this is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. I'm Michael Devine. Thanks to David Osterberg and Denny Ploutz, our guests so far. The mayor will be in at 4 o'clock this afternoon, so if you have a question or comment for the mayor, all you got to do is call 955-1400. 3 o'clock. Thanks for listening.
Hi, this is Leslie Segretti.
And I'm Tom Kreitler, and you can hear the Money Pit every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 6 on the voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400 KVFD, Fort Dodge.
A failed case for impeachment. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's what Republicans are saying about the Democrats' claims at another long hearing. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
The House Judiciary Committee could work late into the evening, considering articles of impeachment against President Trump. Georgia Democrat Hank Johnson argues it's never proper for a United States president
to hold a foreign country over a barrel to make them do that president's personal bidding.
2 articles of impeachment allege President Trump withheld military aid to Ukraine as pressure for political investigations. Texas Republican John Ratcliffe says the president has the ability
to ask about matters where there is a prima facie case of corruption.
If the committee adopts articles of impeachment, a vote in the full House could come next week. Lisa.
Well, meantime, Jared, President Trump has been meeting with top trade advisors amid reports that a Phase 1 deal with China is close.
What exactly are the details here, if in fact there is a deal that if in fact President Trump would sign off on? Remember, it was in the middle of October that we all got summoned into the Oval Office, and President Trump announced that there was a deal in principle sitting right across from the Chinese Vice Premier Liu He. Since then, for the past 2 months now, that both sides have been negotiating back and forth with each other, quote unquote, papering the deal. Well, that papering is all of the details in between.
Fox Business Network's Blake Berman at the White House. An optimistic tweet from President Trump sent stocks soaring earlier today, up more than 300 points. At the closing bell, the Dow up 220, the S&P and the NASDAQ hitting new record highs, the NASDAQ topping 8,700. America is listening to Fox News.
At Quicken Loans, our 17,000 team members know that home is so much more than a house. That's because our clients tell us all the time. Hey, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, and we want to help you save money on your mortgage with some of the lowest refinancing rates ever. Rates are historically low. You may be able to reduce your rate and save money on your monthly mortgage payment right now. Pay off some credit card debt, or put some money towards that new bathroom or kitchen you've always wanted. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%, APR 4.18%. That's right, 3.99%. While we can't predict what will happen in the future, we do know that rates have dropped, and now is the time to save money on your mortgage. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn how refinancing now may be the right mortgage solution for you. That's 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.375% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
New York State hopes to keep a ban on flavored e-cigarettes in place as a court fight over that ban continues.
A state health commission has voted to keep the ban in place for another 3 months, but it's not being enforced because a state appeals court has blocked it. Health officials say they believe the court will eventually side with their view of e-cigarette use and vaping as a public health emergency. Critics of the ban have sued the state, calling the action an overreach. Still, Governor Andrew Cuomo says he's considering expanding the ban to include menthol. The CDC says more than 2,400 people have been sickened and 52 people have died from vaping-related illness. In New York, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
In the meantime, vaping-related illnesses have now hit all 50 states. Alaska had been the lone holdout, but it is nationwide in that latest CDC report, which finds more than 2,400 patients hospitalized nationwide, though the number of reported illnesses does appear to be declining. A home security camera hacking circulating online.
A family in Memphis, Tennessee says a hacker was able to gain access to the Ring camera installed in their 8-year-old's bedroom. A male voice can be heard taunting the child through the Amazon-owned device.
I'm your best friend. I'm Santa Claus.
The individual tells her to destroy her stuff and tries to get her to use profanities.
Come on, can you say the magic word?
A rep for Ring says the company encourages customers to enable two-factor authentication, which the family admits they did not do. Ring investigating, but says its overall security was not compromised. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Recapping the rally on Wall Street, pinned mostly on optimism about a trade deal with China. The Dow up 220, the NASDAQ at 8,717. Brady, this is Fox News.
With your KVFD news update, I'm Rob Jones. 28-year-old Fort Dodge resident Blair Foy entered a guilty plea yesterday on charges of first-degree robbery and second-degree theft. The charges stem from an incident on September 14th where Foy allegedly pulled out a handgun and ordered the victim to get on his knees. Foy then allegedly took the man's car keys, over $300 in cash, and a cell phone. Authorities say Foy attempted to force the man into a vehicle with him, but the man escaped as another party that was present distracted Foy. The victim's cell phone was recovered from a vehicle Foy had been in on South Lucas Avenue in Eagle Grove. Both of the charges against Foy are felonies. He faces up to 15 years in prison for the two charges. Community Christian School of Fort Dodge will be having their third annual holiday craft show and vendor fair this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event is on the campus of Community Christian School and is a free admission event. They will have 30 crafters and vendors there to showcase their products. All of the proceeds will go toward the creation of a scholarship fund at Community Christian School. In sports, college basketball on tap for tonight as the Iowa State Cyclones host the Iowa Hawkeyes tonight at Hilton Coliseum, a 7 p.m. tip-off. You can hear the Iowa call of the game on K97, and you can hear the Iowa State call on your home for the Iowa State Cyclones, True Country 540 KWMT. The UNI Panthers in action tonight as well, coming off a win against Colorado on Tuesday night. They'll be on the road taking on Grand Canyon University, an 8 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game on your home for Panther sports in North Central Iowa, KVFD, AM 1400. The Fort Dodge wrestling team in action tonight, hosting Des Moines North at 6:30. Tonight is senior night. The Dodger seniors will be honored before the meet. For KVFD from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. Overcast skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 39. Northwest winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast skies again tonight, lows level off around 18. Cloudy skies tomorrow, chance of snow, daytime highs approaching 35. A dusting of snow tomorrow. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 26.
Here's a look at how the markets closed today. December corn up 9 1/4 at 367. March up 6 1/2 at 377 3/4. May corn up 6 1/4 at 384 1/4. July up 6 1/4 at 390. January soybeans up 4 3/4 to close at 898 1/4. March up 4 1/2 at 912 1/2. May up 4 1/4 at 926. July beans up 3 3/4 at 938 3/4. December wheat closed up 8 1/2 cents at 539 1/4. Soybean meal down 70 cents a ton at 292.60. December live cattle down 15 cents at 120.42. February down 22 at 125.10. January feeders down 22 at 142.55. March down 22 at 143.45. December lean hogs up 30 cents at $61. February up 92 at 68.65. I'm Dwayne Murley.
Bring your holiday shopping list and shop Mary Kay's. Mary Kay's Gifts and Home Decor has everything from gifts, home decor, seasonal items to Woodwick candles, Iowa and Iowa State gifts for the die-hard fan on your list, and so much more. Don't forget to check out the new Merle Norman Cosmetics Studio located inside Mary Kay's, where you can give the gift of beauty or let her choose by giving her a Merle Norman gift certificate. 'Tis the season to shop Mary Kay's Gifts and Home Decor in Merle Norman, 1108 Central Avenue, downtown Fort Dodge. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Hope to see you soon.
Alpha Media's 10th annual Bikes for Tykes event, sponsored by R&J Material Handling, W&H Co-op, and Fort Dodge Ford Toyota, is winding down. We've been asking you to bring new bikes into Fort Dodge Ford and our studios for kids served by Upper Des Moines Opportunity. Some of you have responded, and we're very grateful for that. We have upwards of 400 kids who need bikes this Christmas, and we have until Friday, December 13th to make that happen. Unless we all step up, there'll be a whole lot of kids who wake up Christmas morning to find very little, if anything, under their tree. If you would, please talk to your family, friends, and coworkers. See if they'll pool their money together to buy just one bike for just one kid. That's all it takes. One bike at a time for one kid at a time. Remember, our deadline is Friday, December 13th. Cash donations can be dropped off at our studios at 200 North 10th. We accept checks, too. On behalf of the children, thank you for making their Christmas dreams come true.
What's in store this holiday at your local Staples?
Decking the halls with custom cards and invitations.
Staples makes connecting with clients and loved ones easy, with hundreds of holiday templates you can customize and call your own.
And right now, get 20% off select custom cards and invitations. Some can even be printed same day.
So deck the halls faster and for less this year at Staples,
where there's a whole lot in store this holiday.
Ends 12/28/19, limit 1. Visit staples.com/holiday cards or store for details.
Some digital companies make you pay every time they make a post on your social media, and then
hold your passwords hostage when you want to make a change. At Alpha Media, we believe you should be in control of your business website and social media. We're here to help on whatever level you choose, but you own your digital assets. If you aren't happy, why should you be forced to stay? Let's talk. Call Alpha Media Fort Dodge today and visit with one of our expert marketers. They'll help you develop a complete marketing plan you control. We can't wait to hear from you.
Michael Devine, the Doctor of Truth.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to confess?
At AM 1400 KVFD.
Well, Merry Christmas, baby. AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. I'm Michael Devine. Yeah, we're here to tell the truth, make it matter. Hopefully never be boring. I have witnessed a couple of boring outbreaks on this program here in the last, 10 years. But they're few and far between, so don't worry. Randy Evans has written a great piece in the Des Moines Register today about Berkeley Bedell, contrasting Burke and his time to the present. And it's an affectionate and fond remembrance of the man in our world as it was. Now, we should not see the world on fire politics and nasty insults toward President Trump as evidence of progress, nor should we see President Trump's crude and vulgar behavior at times as the way we want to proceed into the future. I am hoping, and it's only a hope, I am hoping that we come out of this on the other side. But there's no real guarantee of that at all. You can't be of a different mind than your neighbor. If you think differently than your neighbor will think you're evil. That is not in the American tradition. That is not in the American tradition. Catholics can marry Lutherans now, even Jews. By the way, black people can still be black. Brown people can be brown and speak Spanish in public and everything. Because if you listen to both sides now, it's like you must think and speak as I do, or you're evil. We must reject categorically that argument, and we must identify the people making it most strenuously and push back on them. If necessary, we need to banish them from a public office if they hold one. Because if someone is always running around with their hair on fire, they don't belong in public office. They are not worthy to hold our trust. Berkeley Bedell, by the way, retired from the House of Representatives in 1987. Again, it was my pleasure to meet him a couple of times. I kind of liked him. I mean, he had his faults. I saw him up at a golf club. Of course, this really wasn't a fault back in these days, back in the 1970s. There was some golf thing up there. A lot of people were there, and Berkeley was there, and boy, did he have too much to drink. Of course, I was plastered. Of course, I wasn't a U.S. representative. And that wasn't the only time I saw Burke a little tuned, you know. But that was a world we lived in. As I recall, I was in a rather nice country club, and I was smoking a cigarette. Oh, my God, not that. And I'm still here, and I believe most of the people in the room are probably still here. And they all were smoking as well. The Iowa Smoke-Free Air Act was kind of passed with no little hysteria. And really all it was about is that cigarette smoking had fallen out of favor with the educated upper class. So that meant that they could turn on those who smoked, which were working class people. Cigarette smoking was a pleasure of the working class. Therefore, it had to be taken from them for their own good. Does this sort of thinking resonate with you? Have you heard this sort of thinking in different ways over the last several months? You should, because that's the Democratic Party thinking. Well, you're too stupid to know what's good for our collective community. And we're here for the collective community. We're certainly not here for the individual. We certainly don't want to talk about individual rights. We want to talk about what's good for the collective. We want to talk about what's good for the collective. I had a major player in the Democratic Party tell me on this radio station that individual identity did not serve us. That's why the cultural left can make war on guns, on the church, on whoever they wish, and feel justified. Have you heard the nasty, vicious tone of gay rights activists lately? Remember when all they wanted was to be left alone, to love who they wanted? Now, you better listen up, pal, because any indication that you don't agree with our lifestyle and our culture, and your life is going to go up in smoke, and we can do it. We'll just have to tweet something. You know something? That's right. That's absolutely correct. But Berkeley Bedell wasn't of that generation, thank God. He wasn't part of that generation. Randy Evans ends his piece in the Des Moines Register today by saying, in these times when too many of us view people as enemies, if their political views differ from ours, we ought to remind ourselves what Berkeley Bedell stood for. And we ought to, by his approach to working together, to make our nation and our world a better place for everyone. I would contrast that with a piece in the New York Times today. This is the mothership of liberalism, the New York Times, Gail Collins. And she is gloating about what a miserable Christmas Donald Trump should have. Oh, yes, he may be impeached. He may be impeached. She even gives Nancy Pelosi credit for the new trade deal with Mexico and Canada, calling it the Democratic plan to control the price of prescription drugs. It was Donald Trump who campaigned against NAFTA, said he would change it if not abolish it. Now the Democrats, realizing it's popular, have co-opted it. And here's one of the leading newspapers, if not the most important newspaper in the country, acting as if this were a Democratic plan. It wasn't a Democratic plan. NAFTA was the Democratic plan that ruined the lives of working people and small business people all over the country and sent 55,000 factories overseas. That's not jobs, factories. And now, in one of the greatest lies ever, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are telling us that, yeah, they are the ones who came up with the idea for NAFTA, to change NAFTA. Have you heard any pushback on this idea at all? Have you seen anyone bring up the history of our country in recent years? This is from Gail Collins in today's New York Times. She writes, anything Nancy Pelosi does is a good idea. This is Gail Collins speaking. I never thought about her at all until a few months ago, but now I believe she's a combination of Eleanor Roosevelt, Madame Curie, and Meryl Streep. My God. Eleanor Roosevelt, Madame Curie, and Meryl Streep. Nancy's a rich old woman who lives in San Francisco and has been accumulating wealth. She lives, are you ready for this? With a wall around her house in the most exclusive area of San Francisco. Little lady, the common folk. Gail Collins finishes her little screed in the Times today by saying, this is amazing times. Of course, watching the impeachment drama lose a little zip when you remember that the Senate Republicans are never actually going to toss the president out of office, but that's a story for 2020. Meanwhile, the holidays have to be a little bit brighter when you contemplate the fact that Donald Trump is definitely not having his best Christmas ever. What a mean-spirited, spiteful little woman. What a mean-spirited, spiteful little woman. And she has a seat at the editorial table of the New York Times. Again, the Times is a, liberal paper. And it's been liberal for, many years. But even this should be over the top. But again, this is what you're dealing with. These are people who really believe they should be running the country. They're scholars, they're academics, they're liberal thinkers, and they really don't like working class people like you and me. And they really have a lot of contempt for people who spent their lives making money. They do, in fact, believe that the wealthy must be controlled by them, and that working people, I don't think controlled is a strong enough word, working people should be at their beck and call anytime they need their lawn mowed. That's who you're dealing with. And we can see it plainly now. I always thought that, and from talking to elite liberals over the years, I've come to believe that. The court system, by the way, is rank with elite liberal thinking. If they need an opinion, they go to Georgetown University. More on that later.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Listen to this.
Making radio great again.
Well, it's 3:23 minutes after 3 o'clock. The news is coming up.
Ever wonder what to do with the hazardous materials under your sink? The North Central Iowa Regional Solid Waste Agency can help. We'll take just about anything you've got under the kitchen sink, bathroom sink, even the laundry room sink. I'm talking cleaning supplies, oil, batteries, paint, and more. Just give us a call. We'll set up an appointment for you to drop off your hazardous materials. Our number is easy to remember, 576-5866. You can also find us online at ncirswa.org.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and throughout DSOC's house, the children were stirring, not because of a mouse. There were no stockings hung by the chimney with care. They had just left their home because they were scared. The children were snuggled up in a strange bed, hoping that Santa would know they had fled. They had been home like always and settled in bed when they heard the fighting, hurtful things being said. This time there was hitting and left a bad mark. They started crying. The dog started to bark. They snuck out of the house and ran to the neighbor. Upon arrival, asked for a favor.
Will you call the police? This time was real bad. The nice policeman came and saw they were sad. They took them to DSOC to be safe at least. They won't be at home, but they'll have peace. They hope Santa knows to come here this year. This will help as they heal and bring them some cheer. The staff at DSOC just asked one thing: bring a toy for a child who came with nothing. We at DSOC thank you from deep in our hearts. You're making a difference for those making new starts. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all.
From the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones. 28-year-old Fort Dodge resident Blair Foy entered a guilty plea yesterday on charges of first-degree robbery and second-degree theft. The charges stem from an incident on September 14th where Foy allegedly pulled out a handgun and ordered the victim to get on his knees. Foy then allegedly took the man's car keys, over $300 in cash, and a cell phone. Authorities say Foy attempted to force the man into a vehicle with him, but the man escaped as another party that was present distracted Foy. The victim's cell phone was recovered from a vehicle Foy had been in on South Lucas Avenue in Eagle Grove. Both of the charges against Foy are felonies. He faces up to 15 years in prison for the two charges. Community Christian School of Fort Dodge will be having their third annual holiday craft show and vendor fair this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event is on the campus of Community Christian School and is a free admission event. They will have 30 crafters and vendors there to showcase their products. All of the proceeds will go toward the creation of a scholarship fund at Community Christian School. From Radio Iowa, public health officials will be at a Northern Iowa high school before Christmas break to test students, staff, and others who may have had close contact with a student who's been diagnosed with tuberculosis. Administrators at Hampton-Dumont High School sent an alert to parents and guardians on Monday that a student at the high school had been diagnosed with tuberculosis. The school's district nurse is working with officials from the state, Franklin County, and the local hospital to come up with a final list of people who will be notified that they should be tested. Jenny Swart is Hampton-Dumont school nurse.
TB can get quite complicated, as in the length of time. We could have it in our body and we would actually develop it, but we can identify it and we can treat it. There is a state program, and the testing is free as well as the treatment is free.
Swart says it's hard to say how the student contracted TB.
It's transmitted with close contact with, coughing, sneezing, talking with, the person that's actually diagnosed with that.
Hampton-Dumont Superintendent Todd Leto says the district's website is being updated to keep the community informed.
What we wanted to do is kind of have a common message for everybody, and that's why we've started a link on our homepage, at the school. So we will be getting information out there, and then Jenny, as she's hearing more information from County Public Health as well as the State Department, we will be putting information out there. We just want to have a central place where everybody can go and get the same information and hear it from one source.
Symptoms of active TB include coughing that lasts 3 or more weeks, a fever, and unintentional weight loss. In sports, college basketball on tap for tonight as the Iowa State Cyclones host the Iowa Hawkeyes tonight at Hilton Coliseum, a 7 p.m. tip-off. You can hear the Iowa call to the game on K97, and you can hear the Iowa State call on your home for the Iowa State Cyclones, True Country 540 KWMT. The UNI Panthers in action tonight as well, coming off a win against Colorado on Tuesday night. They'll be on the road taking on Grand Canyon University, an 8 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game on your home for Panther sports in North Central Iowa, KVFD, AM 1400. The Fort Dodge wrestling team in action tonight, hosting Des Moines North at 6:30. Tonight is senior night. The Dodger seniors will be honored before the meet. That's your Alpha Media News Update from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom. I'm Rob Jones.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. Overcast skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 39. Northwest winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast skies again tonight, lows level off around 18. Cloudy skies tomorrow, chance of snow, daytime highs approaching 35. A dusting of snow tomorrow. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 23.
Here's a look at how the markets closed today. December corn up 9 1/4 at 367. March up 6 1/2 at 377 3/4. May corn up 6 1/4 at 384 1/4. July up 6 1/4 at 390. January soybeans up 4 3/4 to close at 898 1/4. March up 4 1/2 at 912 1/2. May up 4 1/4 at 926. July beans up 3 3/4 at 938 3/4. December wheat closed up 8 1/2 cents at 539 1/4. Soybean meal down 70 cents a ton at 292.60. December live cattle down 15 cents at 120.42. February down 22 at 125.10. January feeders down 22 at 142.55. March down 22 at 143.45. December lean hogs up 30 cents at $61. February up 92 at 68.65. I'm Dwayne Murley.
Get ready for zero-proof drinks, meat plant blends, unique types of flour, and West African cuisine in 2020. I'm Julie Harker with Healthy Living on Brownfield. These are just some of the potential food trends in the coming year, according to Whole Foods Market. More than 50 market team members, including foragers, regional and global buyers, and culinary experts, put a list of 10 food-based trends on consumer preferences together. It forecasts trends for 2019, which included a rise in hemp products, fake meat snacks, and eco-friendly packaging. Nearing the top of the list for 2020 is people seeking more brands that support regenerative practices. Regenerative agriculture describes practices that improve soil health and biodiversity and can ultimately help combat climate change. Whole Foods Market also expects people to seek out different types of flours. The new year could bring more fruit and vegetable flours like banana flour and flour made from all things cauliflower. Foods from West Africa are also popping up. Tomatoes, onions, and chili peppers are the base for many West African dishes. Peanuts, ginger, and lemongrass are also popular. Last year saw a rise in plant-based products, and some butchers are getting in on the trend without going vegetarian. There could be an increase in meat-plant blends. Applegate, for example, is selling a beef burger with 30% plant-based ingredients. I'm Julie Harker with Healthy Living on Brownfield.
Farming. It's genetics. It's what you are, who you are, what you're made of. It's agronomy, local knowledge of your land and having the tools to put the right product in the right place. It's built on service, with trust, grit, and determination. Because what it takes to make the best product is a lot like what it takes to make a farmer. Golden Harvest, rooted in genetics, agronomy, and service. Talk to your local Golden Harvest seed advisor or visit goldenharvestseeds.com.
Don't wreck the holidays. Brought to you by the Iowa Department of Public Safety, Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau.
PrEP is HIV prevention in the palm of your hand. One pill, once a day, can lower your chances of getting HIV. PrEP provides a high level of protection against HIV when taken every day. While on PrEP, you should visit with your healthcare provider every 3 months. With Iowa TelePrep, you can do that on your schedule, on your terms, from wherever you're most comfortable. You'll visit with a pharmacist using a private, confidential app on your tablet, smartphone, or computer. And medications are delivered right to your home, quickly and privately.
My PrEP keeps you healthy.
My PrEP is peace of mind.
My PrEP is safe, easy, and delivered.
It's accessible, and it's confidential.
My PrEP is affordable.
It's freedom.
My PrEP is responsible.
Iowa TelePrep is here for you. PrEP, HIV prevention in the palm of your hand. One pill, once a day to lower your chances of getting HIV. For more information about PrEP and how to get started with Iowa TelePrep, go to prepiowa.org. That's prepiowa.org.
Alpha Media's 10th annual Bikes for Tykes event, sponsored by R&J Material Handling, W&H Co-op, and Fort Dodge Ford Toyota, is winding down. We've been asking you to bring new bikes into Fort Dodge Ford and our studios for kids served by Upper Des Moines Opportunity. Some of you have responded, and we're very grateful for that. We have upwards of 400 kids who need bikes this Christmas, and we have until Friday, December 13th to make that happen. Unless we all step up, there'll be a whole lot of kids who wake up Christmas morning to find very little, if anything, under their tree. If you would, please talk to your family, friends, and coworkers. See if they'll pool their money together to buy just one bike for just one kid. That's all it takes. One bike at a time for one kid at a time. Remember, our deadline is Friday, December 13th. Cash donations can be dropped off at our studios at 200 North 10th. We accept checks, too. On behalf of the children, thank you for making their Christmas dreams come true.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At Capital One, you can open a new savings account in about 5 minutes and earn 5 times the national average. Banking with Capital One means 5 times the savings to help pay for your perfect honeymoon. Or 5 times the savings toward your family's perfect vacation.
Big fan of water rides.
It's time to help make your savings goals come true. This is Banking Reimagined. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Rate comparison based on FDIC national rate. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Changing the approach to nitrogen application.
Hello, I'm Megan Grebner, and this is Managing for Profit on Brownfield, a content partnership with Precision Planting. Research at the Precision Technology Institute has found that taking the same amount of nitrogen and split applying it, opposed to applying it just once in the fall, is boosting yields. But that's not all. In this Managing for Profit, commercial agronomist Jason Webster details the findings. We'll find out more on Brownfield right after this.
More than 1 million wild animals are killed each year, illegally. Poaching is just one of the risks animals face at our hands. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor. I grew up in the beautiful rural countryside of Ohio, where animals roamed freely in the open forests. I have a deep concern to help preserve those open spaces for our wildlife friends so they can live and thrive like they used to. Destruction of their habitats threaten their very existence. The best way to protect wildlife is to protect the land where they live. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats, and establish permanent sanctuaries. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE. Or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
Jason Webster's typical nitrogen program looked like this. 50% applied ahead of planting, and the remainder was side dressed. While that has worked, he says it's time to start thinking outside the box. And that's exactly what they're doing at the Precision Technology Institute.
We compare one and done nitrogen applications, and what we're finding is that that's just not a real efficient way. We can have weather events, we can have large amounts of rainfall, we can have nitrogen loss as a result. So what we like to do is kind of spoon feed our crop during the growing season, and the more events where we can apply nitrogen, the safer it is, and the more likelihood we have of making sure that corn doesn't have a bad day by running out of nitrogen.
He tells Brownfield one of the goals of the trials is to make sure the corn crop always has nitrogen available to it when it needs it most.
We've known for a while that split applications, putting on nitrogen more than once has offered yield increases. But year in and year out on our PTI farm, we're finding that typically we can see 15 bushel increases in corn yield by just offering one additional nitrogen treatment. The thing that we're really finding even more interesting is if we can put nitrogen on the planter as another way to do that split application, we're seeing additional yield increases over and above that 15 bushel we just talked about to another. This past year in 2019, it was almost 12 bushel in addition.
And to be able to apply nitrogen at planting meant needing to modify the equipment.
We took a strong look at it and said, well, what's the existing equipment on a planter? And we chose to look at the gauge wheels. Inside the gauge wheels, we thought there's enough room to place a knife so we could effectively come in and place liquid fertilizer, nitrogen, if you will, on each side of where we plant the seed. So we call this product Conceal, and it is exactly 3 inches away from that planted seed. It's a knife inserted in the middle of the gauge wheel, existing equipment of the planter, so we're not hanging that heavy equipment. It's just a really nice place to put that nitrogen. It's clean, it's effective. More importantly, though, it's in the right spot. And I kind of call it luxury nitrogen. It's not the fact that we're putting on more pounds of nitrogen. We don't want to do that. That's not sound agronomically. But we call it luxury is because the corn plant doesn't have to work to go get that nitrogen because it's in a high concentrated band where the root can get it easily.
More information can be found at precisionplanting.com/nutrients. I'm Megan Grebner with Managing for Profit on Brownfield, a content partnership with Precision Planting.
Country Hearth Breads would like to offer a toast to breakfast. Their new breakfast breads are baked with simple, natural ingredients like fresh apples and cinnamon, cranberries and wild rice, real maple syrup, and sweet, tangy blueberries. They're great right out of the package, but with their slightly chewy texture, they're even better toasted. No matter how you like yours, Country Hearth breakfast breads are the naturally delicious choice.
I'm April from Lizard Creek Ranch and Event Center. This holiday season, our thoughts turn to those who have made our progress possible. We thank you and send our best wishes for the holidays. We look forward to serving everyone in the new year at Lizard Creek Ranch and Event Center, Fort Dodge.
Have you ever wondered how the brain works? What makes us tick? Join me, Greg Woods, every Wednesday morning for all the latest news on the brain, on aging, and the science behind it all. It's The Mind Boggles, every Wednesday morning at 8:30 on AM 1400 KVFD.
Divine Intervention is online at yourfortdodge.com, on Twitter at jmike1400.
Well, there you go, AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. I'm Michael Devine, the Doctor of Truth, of course. And you can join this program by calling 515-955-1400, 515-955-1400. If you like, you can go to YouTube, type in 1400 KVFD, lowercase, and you'll be able to see and hear what happens in this studio. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Studio's a little dressed up for Christmas. I've done better in the last few years as far as decorating the studio for Christmas than I have so far this year. I don't know. I just didn't get into it right away. I'm just now starting to get into Christmas, and for God's sakes, it's December 12th. I think it was the late Thanksgiving. I don't remember a Thanksgiving being that late in my life. I usually had a little bit of cushion, and I'm sure you did too. I had a little bit of cushion after Thanksgiving ended. There was a build-up to Thanksgiving. It's a big family time, all those sort of things. Hey, let's have Thanksgiving and sit around and in a food coma later, barely able to watch football, but that was the tradition, and it worked. When I was married, the men in the family would all have the big meal, and then they'd have to go ride around in somebody's van and check the farm fields, of course. That was mainly to come out of the food coma, get hit in the face with a little cool air, and go check the farm fields or new buildings in town, small town Iowa stuff. It's great. Loved it. But with this year's late Thanksgiving, I just could not get into it. It seemed like we waited forever for Thanksgiving. Then when it got here, it was okay. But then right away we had to shift, or at least I did. This is the way I felt. We had to shift to Christmas. I just wasn't ready. I didn't have that little bit of time between Thanksgiving and Christmas to get jazzed about Christmas. So I'll get into it now, and we have and Christmas actually is less than 2 weeks away. But I do have my big tree up in front of the window in the main room there. It looks great. And the downstairs in my house, I have a 2-story condo type thing. Doggone sneezes. Sorry. I usually have a Christmas tree upstairs as well. I haven't quite got that done yet. I should have it done about the time Christmas rolls around. But I've been looking to find the grandkids, Christmas presents this year. And that's kind of got me into it again, because Christmas, of course, is about children. I was a child once, and boy, I just couldn't wait for Christmas. It was the greatest thing ever. Birthdays were okay and that sort of thing, but nothing took the place of Christmas. All those great Christmas songs. Yeah, we went off to church and all kinds of weather and that sort of thing. But there was a holiday atmosphere everywhere you went in town. Everywhere you went. Silent Night would be in the air, and Home for Christmas. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. All that sort of thing. It was great. Is it still that way? Or am I just missing it? There's a great cultural hostility to Christianity in our country. And really, despite what they may say, they would like to relegate Christmas to some, and you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the cultural left, and certainly elements within the Democratic Party would like to relegate Christmas to something that you keep in your own home and shut up about, because that's what they kind of demand about faith in general. Just keep it in your little church or your house or wherever you are, and don't bug me with it. I shouldn't be subjected to your dumb faith, you dumb hick. I mean, that's the kind of wonderful people who want to throw Trump out of office and rule us. I didn't say lead us. I said rule us. You have to remember that. I think if it weren't for the Christmas season, the people of the United States would be a little outraged over the Democratic Party's absurd articles of impeachment. Certainly, Trump is a bull in a china shop. He's not the ideal president. But should he be impeached for idle talk? And frankly, I shouldn't describe it as idle talk. He wanted something from the president of the Ukraine. But like it or not, these things that Trump was trying to do are done all the time. They are done all the time. Barack Obama did it. George W. did it. Bill Clinton, all of them. What we're seeing is a bunch of really smug, angry people who are saying, in essence, screw you to 63 million people who voted for President Trump. They want to smear him with an impeachment. And you people, yes, you people, in addition to keeping your silly little Christmas in your silly little houses, in your places of worship, we want you to shut up. And by the way, you know you can't stop us. We're going to do this no matter how offensive it is, because we are an entitled bunch of snobs. And we get to throw fits about things because we're morally right and you are morally wrong. Wow. That's some way to think, isn't it? But that's it. That's what they do. That's what they do. I think we're in the twilight zone. Yeah, Trump, to his considerable credit, has made us understand about some of our more sacred institutions. They need to be cleaned up. Peter Strzok and Lisa Page are appalling. My God. What were they ever even doing there in the first place? Well, they came from good schools and good families and all that, so there they are. Good afternoon. You're on the air at AM 1400.
Yeah, you talk about Christmas, and it's the season of niceness, all that stuff. And then you start ranting and raving about Democrats and Trump. Can't you stick with just being nice this month?
Shall I be nice this month?
It'd be nice to be in the mood for Christmas spirit.
In the Christmas spirit?
Yeah.
All right. Are you in the Christmas spirit?
And leave the politics go for a month. It'd be nice to hear something besides politics.
What would you like to hear about?
Oh, like snowman or Santa Claus or I was at good things. There's people out doing good things all the time. Even right here in this town. The veterans are doing a good thing. They're doing a good thing out at Shimcats. They're doing a good thing for it. The bicycle stuff. There's so much good stuff going on. Why be negative?
Well, I can't talk about that sort of thing all day. I'd love to talk sports with Nevin and Randy Kuhlman all day, but I can't do it.
Well, if you're going to be knocking people, knock both sides when you're talking then.
You're a Democrat, aren't you?
No, I'm an independent.
Independent.
But that Trump has done everything so crooked, and people stand behind me. I don't understand why. He's the biggest bully out there. You don't want your kids being bullied, and this guy bullies everybody.
You want to see? You want to see?
For children.
What's that?
For children. It's a poor example for children.
Trump?
Yes, the way he treats people, it's not presidential.
Here, I don't know if we have something in common in this area or not, but when my son was very young, I had to explain why he was hearing about Bill Clinton and oral sex on the news. I had to talk to him about that at the time, and he was about 11 or 12 years old. It was not an enjoyable time. Now, if you want me to talk about both sides of this issue, I'll talk, because Clinton and his wife are still heroes in the Democratic Party, and an entire generation of young people grew up learning about what oral sex was because of the conduct of the President of the United States. Now, Trump isn't any better. There's no doubt.
But now the kids know how to cheat on their wives. When their wives are in the hospital having a baby, that's the time to hire a hooker and cheat. That's a good thing to know.
Is that what happened?
You forget that, didn't you? And you forget about how he likes to grab them by the you-know-what.
I was going to say easy there. No, there's no excuse for that. I'm not making an excuse for that at all.
That's not a president at all that does stuff like that.
Well, you know,
I don't care if you like him or not. That is not presidential. Period.
You're right, but we've had a long history of presidents, when you look behind the curtain, who did a lot of the same stuff.
George Washington.
What's that?
You can go clear back to George Washington.
I suppose. Thomas Jefferson supposedly had biracial children.
Yeah.
Well, in the old days, when we grew up,
there's bad things on both sides.
Oh, there is. So what do we do about it?
But when the radio person has got the mic and talks to all the people and just keeps bringing up one side, that is not doing this country any good.
Well, you know, they
need to be bringing up both sides, even though the majority of the people you get on your show now are all Republicans because they know that you're in bed with them. So it's sad.
I just flashed being in this.
It's the only talk show around here, and you listen to yours over and over and over. You have nothing good to say about Democrats, period.
Well, it's such a hostile time. The Democrats seem to have lost their mind. See if you can agree with me on this.
You don't think the Republicans haven't?
No, I don't. I don't think they're as full-throated and vicious and vulgar as the Democratic Party is right now.
Oh, Republicans taking away women's rights to choose and everything else. Took away the union rights. I know you've got to cater to your Republicans that come on the show. So you're not going to say nothing against the Republican.
Oh, I think I've surprised them a couple of times.
And everybody knows it. That's why Democrats don't come on your show anymore. Because you're so one-sided.
The Democratic Party in Fort Dodge, they started that way before I got nasty with them. They just didn't like the Democrats want to control the message as much as the Republicans do, and I've always said the Democrats have all the newspapers and most of the talk shows and all the major networks.
Whoa. Just you tell me a radio station around here that has a talk radio show that's Democratic.
Well, aren't you lucky that I'm here? You ask yourself what other talk show there is in within a 90-mile radius.
How about Des Moines?
Hey, that's a 90-mile radius.
Who runs
That's right.
the talk shows on the radio?
What's that?
Who runs the talk shows on the radio out of Des Moines?
Well, I'm sure the talk shows are run by the stations that own the talk shows.
Which are Republicans.
I don't know that. How do you know that?
Oh, Jesus, all you got to do is get on your computer and look who owns your station.
Here, I'm going to tell you how radio stations decide who's on the air or what's on the air. It's what makes money. If polka music started making money next week, I'd be off the air, and you'd hear polka in this time period. Money is the driving force, and don't forget it. It's not ideology. A bunch of Republicans aren't sitting around in some dark cave somewhere saying, let's poison the minds of Americans with conservative thought. They're thinking of ways to make money. And if they can do it with conservative talk radio, that's what they're going to do. Liberal talk radio was tried with Air America, and it went bankrupt. Big time.
Because they don't have the Koch boys and stuff like that backing them.
They don't have what?
The Koch brothers and stuff like that backing them.
Oh,
when the Koch brothers spend $100 million on an election to vote their people in, well, then they get the big tax cut. They probably saved $1 billion or $2 billion in taxes for that $100 million investment.
Michael Bloom. Hey.
Republicans are.
Now here, Michael Bloomberg just gave $10 million to the Democratic candidates. He's spent $100 million on his nasty little candidacy already. Don't talk to me about the Koch brothers. Don't talk to me. There's plenty of wealthy Democratic donors. And I'll tell you something else. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren were trying to change the economic structure of this company, and the big bundlers, the big money people who support the Democratic Party came out and said they wouldn't support Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders. Next thing you know, you got Joe Biden, who if he wins 2 terms will be 86 years old. Joe Biden's singing the corporate message. Pete Buttigieg, same way. What they really want is Buttigieg because he's gay, and that makes them feel so good about themselves. So what if poverty exists across? Hey, listen, I'm talking here. So what if poverty exists across Iowa and across the Midwest? As long as we get somebody gay in the White House, that'll make a bunch of upper middle class liberals feel good about themselves, and that's all they really care about.
You are such a prejudiced person. I'm sorry. I can't talk to you anymore. You're sickening. Bye.
I don't know why he thinks I'm prejudiced. What, because of the Buttigieg thing? Here, don't tell me that the Democratic Party doesn't want somebody like Buttigieg. If it's not his sexual orientation, it'd be the gender or it would be their ethnic background or whatever. I mean, come on. Isn't that obvious? They're the ones who are so conscious about that sort of thing. I want to tell you what. If Buttigieg, or whatever his name is, shifted gears tomorrow and brought himself more in a line with Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, I'd be there. I wouldn't care about those other things. So what how I feel about any of that? What's really important is what's really important to both the parties, and I just said it. What's really important is the money. Warren and Sanders want to change the economic structure of our country. There are people behind Biden, Buttigieg, and certainly the Republican Party. That's the very last thing they want. I mean, it's easy to fall back on, oh, my God, you're prejudiced about this or that, because that cancels the conversation, doesn't it? You don't have to talk about the money after that. All you have to do is hang some title on somebody. Well, you're a sexist. Well, you don't respect women. Well, you don't respect gay people. Well, you don't respect people of color. It's all crap. None of it is true about me or for the majority of people who live in our town. Are there rednecks? Certainly. There's that idiot redneck down in Des Moines. How embarrassing. Put up Nazi signs in his yard. It means nothing, really. It means that guy's an idiot. What means everything is the money, honey. We weren't grown up, especially if you're my age, to think that way. But if you look around at who the big contributors to the Democratic Party is and see why the Democratic Party started backing away from Warren and Sanders, even though they were popular, and more toward Biden and Buttigieg, you got it. You just heard it. It's the money. The big bundlers, the money bundlers for the Democratic Party, and there's a lot of them, started touting Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden. And I'll tell you, as long as that still is the case, as long as the wealthiest people in this country and their lackeys in either party keep pushing Biden and Buttigieg, I'll be opposed. AM 1400 KVFD, good afternoon, you're on the air.
And what does your Democratic caller think about him killing the babies? That's okay, huh? Like Pelosi.
Well, he's been listening for a long time. He calls me a long time. But he got me going with that insult about how prejudiced I am, because that's just not the truth.
Well, it sounds like he is.
Well, yeah, well, exactly. He wants to hang a label on me like that, so everything that happens after that, he's going to be right, and I'm going to be just off in the corner and some obscure people, an obscure person of some sort. It's not going to work. I don't take that crap off people like that. I mean, he's pretty much of a good guy, but that's an outrageous accusation, and he knows it's false. If he doesn't know it's false, well, maybe he doesn't. You know, a lot of those people really believe themselves, whatever their little mind tells them. Whatever their little mind tells them, it must be the truth, because we don't have objective truth anymore. Objective truth comes from God. Here is the word. Here is the word. No, we have individual truth now. Subjective truth. The truth, this is my truth. There's no such thing. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The mayor's next. AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
Straight talk on life and money. This is the Dave Ramsey Show on the voice of Fort Dodge. AM 1400 KVFD, Fort Dodge.
marathon impeachment debate. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Though the outcome isn't really in doubt in a House committee considering articles of impeachment, Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
Judiciary Committee Democrats like Rhode Island's David Cicilline say President Trump withheld Ukrainian security assistance only for personal political gain.
The idea that Donald Trump was leading an anti-corruption effort is like Kim Jong-un leading a human rights effort.
The committee is considering 2 articles of impeachment tied to the Ukrainian aid allegation. Committee Republicans, like Louisiana's Mike Johnson, said the president has demonstrated a desire to put foreign aid in check.
Since before he ran for president. He tweets about it all the time. I mean, everybody knows this.
The Democratic-controlled committee is expected to adopt articles of impeachment and send them to the full House for a vote likely next week. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. The polls have just closed in Britain. An election fueled in part by the Brexit debate. Fox's Simon Owen is live in London.
And Lisa, broadcasters here just this moment out with an exit poll, and it points to a big victory for Prime Minister Boris Johnson. His Conservative Party expected, according to this poll, to secure a comfortable majority in Parliament. He had campaigned to, quote, get Brexit done. The survey suggesting the margin of victory may be fairly large. This is just a poll, though, so several hours of waiting lie ahead for results to start pouring in from the 650 constituencies. Lisa.
Thanks, Simon. President Trump is focusing on a possible trade deal with China, meeting with advisors at the White House today, and there are reports that a phase 1 deal is done. However, there's been no announcement. This just 3 days before another round of tariffs is set to kick in. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Let's talk credit card debt for a minute. If you feel you're carrying too much of it, you're not alone. The average household in the U.S. carries over $8,000 in credit card debt. Ready for some good news? With a cash-out refinance from Quicken Loans, you can quickly and easily put some of the equity in your home to good use by paying off a lot of that high-interest credit card debt. A great way to take cash out is with our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%, APR 4.18%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN to learn how taking cash out with a 30-year fixed mortgage might be the right solution for you. And for a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rates subject to change. Pay 1.375% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
A bill proposed by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi aimed at lowering the cost of prescription drugs wins House approval. The bill would allow the government to negotiate lower prices with drug makers, but Senate Republicans have criticized that as socialist price controls.
The Secretary of Health and Human Services under this bill would be required to argue down drug prices for at least 12 drugs a year. The bill also puts a limit on out-of-pocket costs for drugs for Medicare enrollees, capping it at $2,000 a year, and also leaves drug companies and the government to pick up the rest of the bill.
Fox Business Network's Hillary Vaughn, the Congressional Budget Office estimates Pelosi's plan would curb Medicare costs by $345 billion over 10 years. But Republican Senator Chuck Grassley, who's been working on a separate bill, says the CBO also suggests the bill could mean dozens fewer life-saving or life-extending drugs being developed. American Airlines extending its cancellations of Boeing 737 MAX flights through early April, about a month longer than planned. This after the FAA said it would not approve the plane's return to service before January. An investigation and lawsuits continue over the 2 deadly crashes that led to the grounding of the MAX jets. The most searched baby of the year on Google is Baby Yoda.
Reps for HighSpeedInternet.com, which tracks internet service providers using Google Trends data to rank the U.S. states searching for this the most. Results suggest the Yoda force is strongest in Utah, followed by New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Washington State, and Oregon. Mississippi is said to be the least obsessed with the fictional figure. Baby Yoda, also known as the child on Disney Plus's Star Wars show, The Mandalorian, the character's debut sending fans into overdrive, inspiring memes, desserts, and Baby Yoda apparel.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin and Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. Overcast skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 39. Northwest winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast skies again tonight, lows level off around 18. Cloudy skies tomorrow, chance of snow, daytime highs approaching 35. A dusting of snow tomorrow. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 23.
With your KVFD news update, I'm Rob Jones. 28-year-old Fort Dodge resident Blair Foy entered a guilty plea yesterday on charges of first-degree robbery and second-degree theft. The charges stem from an incident on September 14th where Foy allegedly pulled out a handgun and ordered the victim to get on his knees. Foy then allegedly took the man's car keys, over $300 in cash, and a cell phone. Authorities say Foy attempted to force the man into a vehicle with him, but the man escaped as another party that was present distracted Foy. The victim's cell phone was recovered from a vehicle Foy had been in on South Lucas Avenue in Eagle Grove. Both of the charges against Foy are felonies. He faces up to 15 years in prison for the two charges. Community Christian School of Fort Dodge will be having their third annual holiday craft show and vendor fair this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event is on the campus of Community Christian School and is a free admission event. They will have 30 crafters and vendors there to showcase their products. All of the proceeds will go toward the creation of a scholarship fund at Community Christian School. In sports, college basketball on tap for tonight as the Iowa State Cyclones host the Iowa Hawkeyes tonight at Hilton Coliseum, a 7 p.m. tip-off. You can hear the Iowa call to the game on K97, and you can hear the Iowa State call on your home for the Iowa State Cyclones, True Country 540 KWMT. The UNI Panthers in action tonight as well, coming off a win against Colorado on Tuesday night. They'll be on the road taking on Grand Canyon University, an 8 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game on your home for Panther sports in North Central Iowa, KVFD, AM 1400. The Fort Dodge wrestling team in action tonight, hosting Des Moines North at 6:30. Tonight is senior night. The Dodger seniors will be honored before the meet. For KVFD from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones.
Here's a look at how the markets closed today. December corn up 9 1/4 at $3.67. March up 6 1/2 at $3.77 3/4. May corn up 6 1/4 at $3.84 1/4. July up 6 1/4 at $3.90. January soybeans up 4 3/4 to close at $8.98 1/4. March up 4 1/2 at $9.12 1/2. May up 4 1/4 at $9.26. July beans up 3 3/4 at $9.38 3/4. December wheat closed up 8 1/2 cents at $5.39 1/4. Soybean meal down 70 cents a ton at $2.9260. December live cattle down 15 cents at $120.42. February down 22 at $125.10. January feeders down 22 at $142.55. March down 22 at $143.45. December lean hogs up 30 cents at $61. February up 92 at $68.65. I'm Dwayne Murley.
PrEP is HIV prevention in the palm of your hand. One pill, once a day, can lower your chances of getting HIV. PrEP provides a high level of protection against HIV when taken every day. While on PrEP, you should visit with your healthcare provider every 3 months. With Iowa TelePrep, you can do that on your schedule, on your terms, from wherever you're most comfortable. You'll visit with a pharmacist using a private, confidential app on your tablet, smartphone, or computer. And medications are delivered right to your home, quickly and privately.
My PrEP keeps you healthy.
My PrEP is peace of mind.
My PrEP is safe, easy, and delivered.
It's accessible, and it's confidential.
My PrEP is affordable.
It's freedom.
My PrEP is responsible.
Iowa TelePrep is here for you. PrEP, HIV prevention in the palm of your hand. One pill, once a day to lower your chances of getting HIV. For more information about PrEP and how to get started with Iowa TelePrep, go to prepiowa.org. That's prepiowa.org.
Alpha Media's 10th annual Bikes for Tykes event, sponsored by R&J Material Handling, W&H Co-op, and Fort Dodge Ford Toyota, is winding down. We've been asking you to bring new bikes into Fort Dodge Ford and our studios for kids served by Upper Des Moines Opportunity. Some of you have responded, and we're very grateful for that. We have upwards of 400 kids who need bikes this Christmas, and we have until Friday, December 13th to make that happen. Unless we all step up, there'll be a whole lot of kids who wake up Christmas morning to find very little, if anything, under their tree. If you would, please talk to your family, friends, and coworkers. See if they'll pool their money together to buy just one bike for just one kid. That's all it takes. One bike at a time for one kid at a time. Remember, our deadline is Friday, December 13th. Cash donations can be dropped off at our studios at 200 North 10th. We accept checks, too. On behalf of the children, thank you for making their Christmas dreams come true.
Ride the bus with the Dart and Midas Transit.
To get around town this winter in the sunshine or the snow, it's easiest with just a phone call to DART. They'll take you around Fort Dodge, to the hospital, the college, downtown, and to the mall. Wherever you're going in Fort Dodge, DART will get you there. Call 800-BUS-RIDE. Put their number in your phone now. 800-BUS-RIDE. DART, your Jefferson Lines connection, helping you get where you need to go this winter.
Our job here's getting you there. Ride the bus.
Divine Intervention at AM 1400 with Mayor Matt Bemrick.
Boss, head man, top dog, big cheese, a head honcho.
Call now, 515-955-1400.
Well, I got the mayor here, or I had him, I should say. His phone rang and he disappeared on me again. Of course, if you're the mayor and you're trying to run a business or be the part owner of a business or whatever it is, got to be a little hectic. Yeah, this is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. Merry Christmas, baby.
I just came here tonight to say I just want to say Merry Christmas, baby. You surely treat me nice. Merry Christmas, baby. You surely treat me nice. I feel just like living in paradise. Now listen, now you see, I feel real good tonight, and I got music on the radio. I feel real good tonight, and I got music on the radio, and the boys in the band are playing pretty good. Now, I feel just like I want to kiss you underneath my mistletoe.
Underneath my mistletoe. That's the boss, of course, Bruce Springsteen, AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. If you'd like to join this program, it's 515-955-1400. Mayor Matt Bemrick is in the building somewhere, and I assume he'll be back here. So if you have a question for the mayor, you might want to hold off a couple minutes. Because he's wandering around talking on his phone somewhere. The good news is he's not carrying a crutch with him today. Not carrying a crutch. And by the way, this is a lousy time of year to be on a crutch or crutches or any of those things. I want to, again, point out something that, the last half hour refreshed my memory on. If you don't agree with the current liberal ideology, you're some kind of twisted redneck and you're prejudiced. You're not somebody who has the right to think differently. You're not some intelligent person who has looked at the objective facts in relationship to our history and culture and the history of Western civilization and decided to think a little differently than a mob of elite snobs. No, you're prejudiced. You're a terrible person. You are a redneck. Now, all this came about because because Pete Buttigieg came into the conversation. I want to tell you again about Pete Buttigieg, and let me repeat it, first of all. The Democratic Party has to have someone like Pete Buttigieg or a woman or a person of color to be their front runner. Joe Biden, my God, he'll be 86 by the time he finishes 2 terms. Come on. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are unacceptable to the big Democratic bundlers. So they have to find somebody like Pete, who's acceptable to the big bundlers, to the big funders, and who's, he's a very talented young man. I don't think he's ready to be the president. It has nothing to do with his persuasion, or what else do you call it, man? Not your persuasion. What am I trying to say?
I don't know what you're talking about. I just got back.
Okay, yeah, I
was
know.
on the phone. Sorry.
I thought you went to the bathroom or something.
No, I was on the phone.
Oh, my God.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. But anyway, the culture has made a decision on accepting gay marriage and gay behavior. And unlike some of Matt's friends, I respect majority rule and minority rights. I respect majority opinion. I'm okay. Hey, if you want to get married, get married. If you don't want to get married, don't get married. End of story. That's it. That's all. There's nothing else to it. If we can't discuss these things honestly, well, I'd have to say that's a deep character fall in people who disagree with me. What do you think, man?
I'm not going to participate in this conversation.
Well, I'm having a conversation here by myself then. Okay. Are you ready to be on the air now?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're still writing stuff down over there looking at your phone?
It's okay.
Are you okay?
I can multitask.
Can you really?
Yeah.
Okay. So what conversation would you like to take part in?
I definitely don't. I heard the very last couple of minutes of your last hour. I would rather not go down that.
We're not going down that road.
But it's getting big game tonight. Iowa State basketball.
Who you picking?
I'm taking Iowa.
Are you taking Iowa?
Yeah, they're I think 4-point dogs to Iowa State. So Iowa State's favored by 4. But
Iowa State is favored by 4.
But it's at Hilton, so of course they would be favored. They give whoever the home team gets a little home field advantage.
That's real.
Home court advantage. Oh, absolutely. And plus Hilton's a fantastic place to watch basketball. There seems to always be energy and magic in the air there. I'm just hoping the Hawkeyes.
It really is. I heard one
Hawks,
of the
I'm hoping to have some magic of their own.
Well, I heard on ESPN the other day, and they were covering a Cyclone game at Hilton for some reason. And one of the people, it couldn't have been, I don't even remember now, and I wish I did. One of the sportscasters said, Hilton Coliseum, I've been there. It's one of the greatest college basketball venues in the country. It's a great place to play basketball, Hilton Coliseum. And this is a guy who apparently broadcasts basketball games all over the country. And I wish I could remember who the heck it is. But, well, I can't. So, Denny Plotz was in here. Of course, he was singing the same song. Only the other way around.
He's an Iowa State guy. And I'll tell you what, I've been to a lot of Iowa State basketball games, and I always root for the Cyclones unless they're playing the Hawkeyes.
Unless they're playing the Hawk.
Unless they're
Did you ever go
playing
down to Carver Hawkeye and watch them play basketball?
There's not the energy there.
There isn't really.
I'd like Carver. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Hawkeye fan. I love the Hawks. You don't have the same kind of energy in that arena as you do at Hilton. Hilton can get so loud and everybody's on their feet. Carver, everybody's kind of like, they're looking pretty good. I mean, you get Michigan State in there, Michigan, some of the real, good Big Ten rivalry. You'll get some energy in the air there, but it's nothing like Hilton. I mean, I've been at Hilton when they played Kansas, and that place is just wild. Wild.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I bet it
Tons
is.
of fun.
I watched one game down at Carver Hawkeye a long time ago, and I agree that Hilton's a better place to play basketball or wrestling, either one.
Did you happen to catch the Iowa State wrestling meet? And how many people were at that wrestling meet?
I did not
at
see
Hilton?
that.
Oh, my God. That place was packed.
Was it really?
Packed.
Good.
Yeah. It was really neat to see that many people at a wrestling meet.
Iowa stopped Kevin Dresser and the boys, but I continue to believe that Kevin can turn that program around.
I hope so, too.
We need some of our local Fort Dodge wrestlers to go down to Iowa State. I would like to see that. But I do like Carver Hawkeye, surprisingly enough, for a wrestling meet. As a matter of fact,
it does. It. Well, you know, the way it's kind of laid back, you get good perspective.
Yeah.
Hey, I've never gone to a wrestling meet at Hilton. I've been to Carver, but not to Hilton.
I've been to several.
I've had
of
a
both
couple
places.
of chances that, you know, buddies say, "Hey, you know, I got some tickets. You want to go?" And I've just never been able to make it work. I should do it one of these times. Somebody calls and says, "Hey, you want to go?"
Oh yeah, Sunday afternoons at the Hilton is a great thing.
Yeah, I'm generally watching football.
Well, I can take a Sunday off.
Yeah, I
of
can
football
too.
and
Not
run
this
down to
year.
Hilton.
This year, I'm pretty excited about how my season's going in football. So, I'm a 49ers fan. So
You're a 49ers guy. You and manager
since
Mike
I-
over there at Old Boston.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
that's what Nevin and those guys
Mike,
call
I
him.
don't think is actually a 49ers fan. He's a fair weather fan.
Oh,
I've
he is.
I've been through the last couple of years of being really crappy.
Yeah.
Not very good.
What,
Lots of injuries last year. Couple years before that, we didn't have quarterback. We didn't have, things just weren't clicking. And Shanahan seems to have everything firing this year.
I think he does. George Kittle has proved himself to be one of the
Kittle.
best.
What an amazing! I mean, that
I watched the game
touchdown,
the other
or
night.
not touchdown, but that pass he
39-yard
caught.
gain, yeah.
That guy's hanging from his face mask.
He is.
He's got other guys jumping on him. He's carrying him down the field
And he's
like,
fighting
you're
him.
not going to stop me. Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
He's fighting him and pushing
Yeah.
him off, and they finally get him down. Three
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah,
But and then,
that'll be a highlight for the ages.
And then the 49ers, or not the 49ers, but, the 49ers.
Saints.
The 49ers got a 15, or the Saints got a 15-yard penalty because of the face mask.
Yeah, because
in addition to the big run, pass
yeah.
run.
And that put them in field goal position, and they made that work. Made
They
their
won the
field
game.
goal and won the game. Yeah,
Because I thought it was over.
You know,
I thought
I kept saying that game was going to be a lot like the week before with Baltimore. Whoever had the ball last was going to win that game. Because they were going to get down that field and score what they had to score to win the game. Or, the defense was going to hold them and the other team would win. But it really boiled down to who had the ball last in the Baltimore game, and it boiled down to who had the ball last in that game.
Is your dad coming, Greg Bemrick? Is he coming?
He was already here.
Oh, he was already here.
I was on the phone. He was outside. I ran out and grabbed something
Oh.
from him. Yeah.
I was going to bring him in and put him on the air. He has been on the air.
Yeah, he has. I think just home builders.
Home builders is the only time, yeah. They
And
used
then
to come
he's
in.
called in once or twice.
Has he?
I think so.
Okay, I didn't recognize his voice.
My mom
He did.
usually calls in around Christmas.
Your mom, I do recognize her
Yep,
voice.
Jessica's called in a few times.
All about Jessica?
All about Jessica.
All right. Yeah, I grossed her out that one time. I still feel sorry for her.
Yeah.
I still regret it. I don't think she ever forgave me.
Yeah, she'll get over it eventually.
I was talking about her husband, for God's
I know. Yeah, let's not talk about that either.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
Oh, I really don't want
let's
to
not
talk
go
about
down that road again.
I really don't want to go down that road, I'll tell you. I'm not always as cute as I think I am.
Yeah.
Most of the times I am, though.
I'm glad you feel that way.
That's all right. What are we going to do with broadband? Here, we'll talk a little city
We're working
business.
on it. I mean,
I'm
the
sure you
council,
are.
The council engaged the group that was doing the previous kind of work to get us to the point to go to referendum or go to the ballot. That measure passed. A lot of public support for that measure. And
71%.
Yep. Now it's at the point where the council has extended that contract with that company, added some money to it, so they're out doing some additional work to get us to the point where we'll be hiring an engineering firm that will start working on preliminary design, concept. They'll start building the actual pro forma of the utility operationally, all those different things that have to come into place. They'll bring that back to the council. Then the council will have to make a decision based on these numbers of potential ratepayers, this infrastructure cost. How would you want to build this? How would you want to phase it? Do you want to do sections of the community? Do you want to put a big trunk loop in and then branch out from it? How do you want to do it?
Right.
So all those things have to be researched and bring back some type of here's option A, B, C.
When we were talking about this before the vote,
yeah,
you guys at the city were talking about maybe you can join with other partners. The
Yeah.
implication was that.
Well, there could be a private provider that comes and says, "Hey, we would love to team with you to help provide the connectivity to the network,
Right.
where the city may own the fiber, or they would operate it, create the connectivity to allow people to jump on the web or use it for phone service or use it for TV service. But all those things are kind of part of this next phase of discovery.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I was talking with some people. I thought that maybe the city was trying to reach an agreement with Mediacom since they're already here.
Well, I mean, I don't think the city's unwilling to talk to Mediacom, Frontier, one of the other providers that's within our area, outside our region, maybe not providing inside the city now, but would be interested in helping create that connection. What are you doing?
Well, Nevin Mulholland is texting me about the sports show tomorrow. That's all.
Oh.
I'm sorry, the music.
He wants to talk about who wins the Iowa State game.
I think he wants to talk about Creighton, actually.
Well, probably more Creighton than anything. I'm sure he'll touch on the Iowa State.
You want to talk about somebody who likes basketball?
Yeah, and he knows his
stuff.
Knows his stuff.
But I think Kuhlman might know a little more.
Kuhlman's pretty sharp also. I mean, really, that table that has lunch over there at Old Boston's, you got a wealth of knowledge just in sports in general there.
Yeah.
You got a lot of guys. I mean, you'd think that you got a bunch of lawyers there. They're probably talking about cases every once in a while. But I think sports can really dominate the conversation at that table.
I used to drop in every now and then and have lunch with them. But I don't know, got out of the habit for some reason. They're good guys, all of them.
Yeah.
Good guys.
I usually stop and say hi to them as I go to a different table because I don't think I would do very well in the sports debating with those guys. I'm not
in basketball. Well,
no.
all they really
if they wanted to talk about wrestling, I could talk about wrestling.
Well, see, I try to bring that up every now and then. There's one guy over there who wants to talk. Gosh, I can't.
Kramer or something?
No. God. I can see him standing there, and his name is there, but I can't think of it. But he's a big Hawkeye fan, wrestling fan, and a big wrestling fan. And he'll talk wrestling with me, but as soon as he and I start talking wrestling, the rest of the guys start shuffling their feet and looking down like, well, you guys shut up. We want to talk basketball.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about this right now. And then it switches to baseball.
Yeah.
And then it goes to college football.
Baseball, I don't mind.
Yeah, I like baseball, too.
All right. You still got that cardinal sickness, all right?
I do. It's not a sickness. It's a full-blown disease.
You believe the Yankees paid $325 million for that Cole from Houston?
Yeah, that surprised me. Damn. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Well,
anyway,
I don't know. They make a lot of right moves over in New York with their baseball. So
God, I was surprised.
Every time they do something odd like that, everybody's like idiots, and then all of a sudden they're right in the hunt again.
Yeah.
So
well,
who knows?
I was surprised to hear or to read that they hadn't won a championship in 10 years.
Yeah. It's been
a while.
Yeah. Oh my God. There's teams haven't even won one.
Yeah. Well, Chicago, thank God, is not one of those teams anymore. Yeah. I think the Indians and poor old Indians. I really kind of wanted to.
Is it the Tigers who I think are the longest, kind of the old school? They haven't won since like 61 or something weird like that.
Probably.
Or maybe
no, Detroit won it, I think, in 84.
We can Google that.
Yeah, but Cleveland hasn't won since the late 1940s.
Yeah. There's one of them that's been an eon.
Well, here, we're going to go to the news. So you type in World Series 1984. I'm sure you're going to see the Detroit Tigers beat the San Diego Padres. How is this for a memory?
World Series. Let's see if he's right. 84.
Tigers won?
Yep, 1984.
You know how I know that?
Why?
The Chicago Cubs blew a 2-game lead.
Yep, they beat the Padres.
Yeah, to the Padres. And I'm thinking, the Padres, we're in the World Series. We're going to blow right by the Padres. We just killed them the first 2 games. They came back and won the last 3. So, oh, man. Anyway, it's 4:29. The mayor's here. We'll be back.
Ever wonder what to do with the hazardous materials around your home? The North Central Iowa Regional Solid Waste Agency can help. We'll take just about anything you find anywhere in your home, whether it's under the kitchen sink or in the garage. I'm talking light bulbs, batteries, bug sprays, paint, fertilizers, poisons, and more. Just give us a call. We'll set up an appointment for you to drop off your hazardous materials you find around your home. Our number's easy to remember, 576-5866. You can also find us online at ncirswa.org.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 1616 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 1616. Enjoy!
When you're diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer,
a million questions flood your mind. How can this be happening?
Am I going to be able to work?
What's a subtype? What do I do now?
We know.
We went through it too. But once you start to understand your options,
you can partner with your doctor
and find ways to face MBC on your own terms. Visit findyourmbcvoice.com and learn how to speak up and have a more informed conversation with your doctor.
Some questions have answers.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com to find some of yours.
From the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones. 28-year-old Fort Dodge resident Blair Foy entered a guilty plea yesterday on charges of first-degree robbery and second-degree theft. The charges stem from an incident on September 14th where Foy allegedly pulled out a handgun and ordered the victim to get on his knees. Foy then allegedly took the man's car keys, over $300 in cash, and a cell phone. Authorities say Foy attempted to force the man into a vehicle with him, but the man escaped as another party that was present distracted Foy. The victim's cell phone was recovered from a vehicle Foy had been in on South Lucas Avenue in Eagle Grove. Both of the charges against Foy are felonies. He faces up to 15 years in prison for the two charges. Community Christian School of Fort Dodge will be having their third annual holiday craft show and vendor fair this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event is on the campus of Community Christian School and is a free admission event. They will have 30 crafters and vendors there to showcase their products. All of the proceeds will go toward the creation of a scholarship fund at Community Christian School. From Radio Iowa, public health officials will be at a northern Iowa high school before Christmas break to test students, staff, and others who may have had close contact with a student who's been diagnosed with tuberculosis. Administrators at Hampton-Dumont High School sent an alert to parents and guardians on Monday that a student at the high school had been diagnosed with tuberculosis. The school's district nurse is working with officials from the state, Franklin County, and the local hospital to come up with a final list of people who will be notified that they should be tested. Jenny Swart is Hampton-Dumont school nurse.
TB can get quite complicated as in the length of time. We could have it in our body and we would actually develop it, but we can identify it and we can treat it. There is a state program and the testing is free as well as the treatment is free.
Swart says it's hard to say how the student contracted TB.
It's transmitted with close contact with, coughing, sneezing, talking with, the person that's actually diagnosed with that.
Hampton-Dumont Superintendent Todd Leto says the district's website is being updated to keep the community informed.
What we wanted to do is kind of have a common message for everybody, and that's why we've started a link on our homepage, at the school. So we will be getting information out there, and then Jenny, as she's hearing more information from County Public Health as well as the State Department, we will be putting information out there. We just want to have a central place where everybody can go and get the same information and hear it from one source.
Symptoms of active TB include coughing that lasts 3 or more weeks, a fever, and unintentional weight loss. In sports, college basketball on tap for tonight as the Iowa State Cyclones host the Iowa Hawkeyes tonight at Hilton Coliseum, a 7 p.m. tip-off. You can hear the Iowa call to the game on K97, and you can hear the Iowa State call on your home for the Iowa State Cyclones, True Country 540 KWMT. The UNI Panthers in action tonight as well, coming off a win against Colorado on Tuesday night. They'll be on the road taking on Grand Canyon University, an 8 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game on your home for Panther sports in North Central Iowa, KVFD, AM 1400. The Fort Dodge wrestling team in action tonight, hosting Des Moines North at 6:30. Tonight is senior night. The Dodger seniors will be honored before the meet. That's your Alpha Media News Update from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom. I'm Rob Jones.
Fort Dodge wrestling tonight. That's right. I forgot about that. That sounds like a great deal to do on a Thursday night. Anyway, this is AM 1400, KVFD, the voice for Dodge. We'll be back with Mayor Bemrick here in just a few minutes. And the weather overnight, mostly cloudy with a low of 18. Our wind chill factor temperature might be around 0. Tomorrow, drizzle, snow, that sort of thing, maybe even a little freezing drizzle. Be careful driving. Overnight, again, a chance of snow Friday night into Saturday with some freezing rain. On Saturday, there's a 20% chance of snow before noon, otherwise sunny with a high of 17. Sunday, there's a chance of snow once again, sunny with a high of 15. Monday, chance of snow once again with a high of 25 degrees. Tuesday, sunny, high 25. Wednesday, sunny with a high of 30 degrees. In other words, winter. Right now in Fort Dodge, 22 degrees. Obituaries this hour brought to you by the historic Bruce Funeral Home at 923 First Avenue South, Fort Dodge. You may contact the historic Bruce Funeral Home by calling 515-576-5117 or online at www.brucefuneralhome.com. Joanne Lee, 84 years old of Fort Dodge, died yesterday here in town at the Simpson Health Center at the Friendship Haven. Services will be at 10:30 in the morning Monday at the First Presbyterian Church for Joanne Lee, who passed away yesterday at the age of 84. Obituaries this hour brought to you by the historic Bruce Funeral Home at 923 First Avenue South, Fort Dodge. You may contact the historic Bruce Funeral Home by calling 515-576-5117 or online at www.brucesfuneralhome.com. Back with the mayor in a few minutes. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. It's 436.
I'm Maria Bartiromo, and this is the Fox Business Report. Stocks closing higher with the Nasdaq and S&P 500 notching new record highs following reports that the U.S. and China have agreed to terms for a Phase 1 trade deal. With the Dow rising 221 points, Nasdaq up 63, S&P 500 up 27. And the number of Americans filing applications for unemployment benefits jumping to a more than 2-year high last week, increasing by 49,000 to 252,000, which is probably not a signal of a pickup in layoffs, but is more reflective of the volatile period following the Thanksgiving Day holiday. And Hulu is rolling out a new kind of ad experience for binge viewers and will reward them for watching 3 or more episodes with an offer from a brand or a commercial-free episode. The new ads come as advertisers are increasingly looking for ways to reach customers with ads that don't annoy them. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means the prescription medication to treat ED is super affordable at 4hims.com. And now get your first online doctor's visit free at 4hims.com. That's right. Zero copay, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. That's really good news. To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/joy.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Divine Intervention at AM 1400 with Mayor Matt Bemrick.
Boss, head man, top dog, big cheese, a head honcho.
Call now, 515-955-1400.
Now I'll find more Christmas music, bumper music in the next few days. Seems like Christmas came right on me this year. I talked about it a little bit earlier today. Thanksgiving was so late, and all of a sudden it was Thanksgiving, and then bang, here comes Christmas right on top of it. Are you taking a picture of me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, send it to me. It's not an embarrassing picture, is it?
Why put bunny ears on you?
Don't put bunny ears on me. Turn me into Santa Claus. I'm more of a Santa Claus kind
You
of guy.
want to be Santa? I think I can do that.
That's right. Yeah.
See if I can make that happen.
I played Santa Claus one time, except I smoked through the whole thing, so I wasn't asked to do it again.
That's pretty good.
Is it?
Oh wow! It caught Woody Harrelson in the background, so both you and Woody have
Woody Harrelson. By the way, one of my listeners, formerly my boss, Steve Gosweiler, texted a message. He heard us in the last half hour talking about the big contract that Cole got from the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
He said that's $4,100 per hour, every hour for 9 years.
Holy crap! That is a lot of money.
What's your labor rate over there at Bemrick? Is it $4,100?
Not that.
If it was, you'd do all the work.
I'd take $4,100 a day.
I would, yeah. Oh, God, I would. I think I'm still a minimum wage worker. I don't know. Never really got over that hump very much. Anyway, Mayor Matt Bemrick is our guest. If you have a question or comment for the mayor, it's 515-955-1400. I have talked with some people over the city who think it's a good idea to rename Exposition Park after Pastor Henderson, which I think is a terrific idea.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with it.
All right. Would you be in favor of that? Because other names have been raised.
Oh, really? What other names were raised?
Dan Payne.
Oh.
Now, if anybody deserves a park or a street named after him, it's Dan. I believe he already has a street named after him, doesn't he?
So we have a naming kind of set of criteria.
Yeah.
It was an adopted plan. This is how you'd go about doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there is a
street or something?
Yep.
All right, let's go to the phones. AM 1400 KVFD. Good afternoon. You're on the air with the mayor. Hello. Are you a telemarketer?
We're not looking to get We're not looking to get any health insurance. Our Visa cards are fine. My Marriott Rewards is doing great. But thanks for your call.
Thanks for your call. Goodbye. I got a call last night from a young woman who, with a very strong foreign accent, who said she was with the IRS.
Oh, yeah, I've gotten a couple of those.
And I said, "Oh, you're with the IRS. So what part of the country are you in?" And she said, "Well, thank you very much." And I got the phone.
I got one, and they said they were going to send the sheriff to get me. And I said, "Oh, good, because that guy owes me a pop from a bet on a basketball game." And they were like, "You're not funny."
Yeah, AM 1400 KVFT. Let's try this again. You're on the air with the mayor.
Hey there, this is Jim Kirsten. Can you hear me?
Hey,
Hi, Jim.
How's things?
Hey, I'm enjoying this. I'm driving down the road, but I thought about asking the mayor. I know you guys brought up opening up that Snell Park a little bit. I'd be in all in favor of that, getting across the second floor.
Yep.
I think what's the next step for that discussion? I'll be attending, supporting it.
Well, right now, we were supposed to have the gentleman that I believe was from ISG that was supposed to be here Monday, and because of some weather issues, he wasn't able to travel Monday to get here. So we've got a workshop. I think we're either doing on the 23rd before the meeting, or we'll do like the first meeting in January. And he'll give a kind of a report on all the work they've been doing, and he's got suggestions of these are the things I would do first. And as we have that conversation, that's when I think you'll hear the council and others talk about, do we open that? Do we not open it? How do we do it? How do we make sure we address safety concerns at the same time as trying to accomplish some of the goals that Rotary and many others have had over the years? And I think it's a conversation that needs to take place, both with the council, the Parks and Rec Commission.
We live by there, and we're concerned about the safety and all that.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Want to be able to have people that are handicapped be able to get back into that more beautiful area.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, somebody know in favor of that.
Almost every park has different areas where it's harder to get to this area than that area. The goal is to make the park more inclusive, more opportunity for people to use it. And I think there's suggestions that have been made by ISG that if you're going to do this, do that. And I think that's what that meeting will help address some of those things. And then it'll ultimately be up to the council to act on the recommendation from the Parks and Rec Commission. Do we open or close that? Or if we do open it, how do we deal with the safety concerns that many people have? at the same time trying to accomplish some of the goals that Rotary set out, a number of years ago. I think Rotary adopted that park in like 1994, if I'm remembering off the top of my head right. So.
Well, I think you're outlining a thoughtful process, and I just want to let you know I think a lot of people do support doing that.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, how did that meeting over at Rockwell City go today? Jim? Hello? Boy, he got out of here fast.
Evidently, he's busy. Well, if he's driving back from that part of the state, sometimes it's spotty.
Yeah, it is. Well, sometimes I don't know. It seems like coverage has been spotty in the last couple of weeks. I don't know.
If you've seen guys in pickup trucks with big reels of wire kind of driving around town, people were asking me just the other day, hey, are you guys already putting the fiber in? And no, we are not. Those are independent companies that are putting in like what would be considered like a hot spot.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say there's an area of town that is underserved or has bad connectivity. They put in these things that are kind of like a hot spot, and I'm using very generic terms here. They have very technical terms for them. But a lot of people know what a hotspot is. And it's supposed to boost your cell signal or create Wi-Fi connectivity for you if you're a subscriber to their service. So a lot of people are like, oh, great, there's already this stuff out there I'm going to be able to connect to. You might be able to. It just depends if you have their service or if you have somebody else's service. So check with your providers and talk to them about some of these things you see going on and see if there's a way for you to utilize those services.
KVFD, good afternoon. You're on the air with the mayor.
Hey.
Oh,
hey,
there
it's
you are.
Jim. Yeah, I think I went through towers or something. But, yeah, the roundtable went real well this morning. There was probably 60 businesses there and good panel discussion of businesses about the benefits of hiring ex-offenders. And,
now, just bring us up to date real quickly.
Good.
Jim, not everybody probably knows what kind of meeting we're talking about. Just bring us up to date here real quickly.
Sure. Well, the Department of Corrections, Iowa Central, and Iowa Workforce Development, along with Governor Reynolds, organized a business roundtable at Rockwell City to expose regional businesses to the opportunities of hiring ex-offenders when they get out. We release 6,000 people from the Iowa system every year, and we're training now. I think we've had 500 go through the Second Chance Pell just in Fort Dodge and Rockwell City, and they're all very skilled, whether it's machinists, welders, what have you, and the success of the employers hiring them has been very good. We have one guy that just got paroled last, a month or so ago, and he's starting at $17.50 an hour with a year of rent paid for by the company up in Lorenz because they're that interested in hiring these people. So it went well, and I think it's going to be a good exposure to the region.
All right, that's a thing of mine, giving a person a second chance. And I admit it's kind of a tough thing for a business person to do. Of course, we have a business person right here in the room here, Matt Bemrick. Matt's
been very supportive, and we may have to at some point talk to the state about adding some space on at the Fort Dodge prison to build a larger training facility because we don't have enough space. And we've had talks with Matt and the Betterment Foundation about that.
Right.
So I think, Matt, we had a good talk today again with the governor on that. So
I have a shining example of an employee that was an offender.
Really?
Yep.
Outstanding. Yeah, I've been saying since I had this radio program, you just can't put a person in jail and leave them there for 3, 4, 5 years, and then just let them out and say make a living. I mean,
yeah.
How?
So anyway, I got to run.
I believe in the program.
Keep up good work, you guys.
Yeah,
thank you
Jim.
very much, Jim.
I absolutely support that program. It's really a wonderful thing to give somebody the opportunity to take their mistakes, pay for them, go back out into the world and be a productive part of our community, our society in general, and make a living and put themselves on a path to a good life.
So you've already hired an offender, at least one, over at Bemrick
Yep.
Electric, and it turned out okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
He's been there for a number of years.
Okay. Well, good. Yeah, I made a number of mistakes in my life. I could have very easily been.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of people that have done things that probably slid under the radar, or something happened that eventually, let them avoid spending time in prison or something like that.
Yeah.
But,
well,
nobody's perfect. I don't think I'm perfect. I don't think anybody else is. And if somebody wants to work hard and they want to do the right things, I think you got to give them that opportunity.
Well, the war on drugs got completely out of hand.
You got to be careful, of course. I mean, you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
And things, but it's amazing. A lot of times, if people have their goals and they set them, and things are going well in their life, they don't have any reason to make those mistakes again.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I'm all about that.
I join you, and I hope we can carry that into the Christmas season with us. We're not asking you to understand a crime, that's for sure. But I hope we can remember that everybody can make one. And even if it's intentional, maybe that person should be given another chance in our world anyway. I certainly, I'll tell you, I was so close a couple of times. I don't think the judiciary came down as hard on young people when I was young as they do now.
Well, you get a lot of small offenses that end up equaling jail time. What happens is somebody gets a possession charge, and then they end up getting an OWI. And
well, the kid got he had domestic violence, and he had these on top of some other dumb things.
That's a big deal, though. Domestic violence.
I'm not making excuses for it.
I'm not either, but I'm just saying sometimes the culmination of 2 or 3 smaller mistakes, and I'm not talking like capital crimes here. I'm talking about mistakes that are higher on the misdemeanor chart or very low on the felony chart, end up getting people to where they end up in jail. And sometimes they need to go to jail to realize, hey, I got to do something different here because the path I'm on is wrong. But then you have issues where you got guys like Tanner King, who burned our building down and served less than 4 years. And then he gets out on the street and he commits a heinous crime of murder. So, that is a really tough thing to identify how to fix in our system. Because at one hand here, you got a lot of people that end up on drug charges that maybe those drugs are related to mental health issues. Maybe they're related to a very poor upbringing that just made them make very bad choices in their life. And here you got somebody who's doing horrible things, and they end up out rather quickly, but they tend to reoffend. So how do you build programs, and how do you bridge those gaps between the multiple small offenses and these guys who are making doing the bigger crimes? And those are the guys that should stay in prison. And maybe some of these smaller drug crimes, we need to give them a different opportunity to use a program like the one Jim and Iowa Central are working on to get back out there and find that productive path in life.
Interesting defense. I'm a liar.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was interesting. No, Scrappy Sexton called one day, and I was talking about Mr. King and what happened with Bemrick Electric. He had a 30-year sentence served. Less than four. Yeah, less than 4. And
even of less than 4, part of that was in like a halfway house.
Yeah.
It wasn't even in a prison.
Yeah. Scrappy burned down the Webster County Attorney's Office, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I didn't see Darren Driscoll for a long time.
I don't necessarily I think that's unfair to blame the county attorney's office for the amount of time he spent. Mm-hmm. The time is determined by the judge, then executed by the Department of Corrections.
That's right.
The Department of Corrections has a system where they're trying to open up room because there's more and more offenders coming in. So that's where we need to figure out how to break that cycle.
I went through that Citizens Academy.
A lot of people come to me and say, aren't you mad at the judge or aren't you mad at the county? No, I'm not mad at them. They did their jobs. And I'm not necessarily mad at the Department of Corrections either. I'm upset with that the process seems to be broken.
Yes.
And to fix that process, it takes a financial resource and legislative directive on how to do that. So I guess I would turn that back on the scrapster, that I think they play a bigger role in why somebody like Tanner King was on the street again versus the county attorney's office.
Yeah, the scrapster was...
I'm sure. I'm waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah, he's
gonna be like, "You're wrong, Bemrick."
Yeah. Well, the scrapster was talking about some comments the county attorney made in regard to the incarceration. He knows very well how the Department of Corrections works.
And he does, and that's a battle. That's a budget battle thing. I mean, do we do this or do we do that? And it's tough. That's a tough. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on or anything with something like that. They have different approaches, different ideas of how to fix the issue. Almost all of them take money and resources. And some people think you can do it with what you got. Other people think, reform is a better way to go. Other people think spending more money, building more prisons is a better way to go. I don't know what the right answer is.
Oh, I do.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Please enlighten us.
No beheadings.
Oh, wonderful. Beheadings.
on the city square.
Well, that did work for a long time. And then, the whole thing about, maybe we're a better society than that came along. So,
well,
I don't know.
And
they still do public canings in Thailand.
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to say it, but I witnessed one.
Really?
I went down to the city square in Utapao, Thailand.
Yeah.
And they brought a guy up, kicking and screaming up the stairs. I was like,
did he shoplift or what?
No, he was a murderer and a rapist. It wasn't like he was a sweet guy.
Yeah.
And they hung him. Yeah.
Wow.
Put a hood over his head and boom, no screwing around. And the crowd cheered. I didn't know what kind of reaction to have. I was just a kid.
I bet
really.
that would have been tough to see.
It was. I thought I'd enjoy it or something because I'd seen lynchings on Gunsmoke.
Yeah, I don't.
But
I
this
don't know
was
the
a real one.
Yeah, Gunsmoke, you still know you're watching TV.
Yeah, you're watching TV. Yeah. These people are actors. Yeah. The guy that got lynched last week is now on The Twilight Zone the next week or something. Yeah. But no.
Oh, I love him in that other Western that it will be coming out in theaters next month. Yeah. But public execution, I think, is a little much for.
No,
for
I was
my
kidding,
taste.
man. Kidding.
I know. I'm not trying to say you're all about public capital punishment, but it's the prison system. There's something wrong in the United States. We incarcerate so many people.
Well, that's true. On the other hand, as I said after that horrible murder of that poor little girl down in Dayton a few years ago.
Yeah.
Right after that, there was a big discussion because the murderer had conned his way out of prison. And the Department of Corrections said, well, I don't think the public knows how our justice system works or knows how the DOC works. And I replied, yes, we do. It's a failure. You let this guy out, and he committed another vulgar crime, horrible crime, and he'd been doing that most of his life. Well. So there are things in our system that we, the people, should change through our elected representatives. And I'm not making any kind of argument for incarcerating. And I've said this, Matt. You've heard me say this. I'm not. Drug crimes, I do not agree with
and I'm
at
with
all.
you. The longer I've been in office and the more time I've spent learning about things you learn about when you are in the position I'm in, the more I believe that legalization of marijuana and some of those things would eliminate a lot of petty drug crimes that ultimately end up putting people in prison.
Yeah.
Now, am I saying let's legalize it tomorrow and let everybody have a free-for-all? Absolutely not. I think it's got to be done intelligently with good legislation and in also giving law enforcement resources and tools they need to make sure people aren't driving impaired and people aren't operating equipment or going to work impaired, all those kind of things. I think there needs to be things there to protect the public.
You're right.
But I think that would save a lot of space in a prison.
I still go to Dubuque quite often. I'll bring you back a stash from Illinois. This is KVFD Fort Dodge.
Haul packages for a living? A gas-powered Mercedes-Benz Sprinter delivers. Transport people? A Sprinter van with 0% financing is a 5-star idea. If food delivery is your thing, then a gas Sprinter caters to you. And if you're a general contractor, the Sprinter with 0% financing nails it. With innovation, safety, and technology, Sprinter is built for you. And it's built for your bottom line with 0% financing. The Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, starting at just $33,790. And for a limited time with IRS Section 179, you could be eligible for up to a $25,000 tax deduction. Gas engine, 0% financing, and a possible tax deduction? Now that's a Sprinter that delivers. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
MSRP excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Options, bond availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Only valid on 2018 or 2019 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter vans excluding cab chassis. Qualified commercial customers only. Financing offer valid through January 2nd, 2020. Consult your tax advisor. For more information, limits may apply. Visit mbvans.com.
Alpha Media's 10th annual Bikes for Tykes event, sponsored by R&J Material Handling, W&H Co-op, and Fort Dodge Ford Toyota, is winding down. We've been been asking you to bring new bikes into Fort Dodge Ford and our studios for kids served by Upper Des Moines Opportunity. Some of you have responded, and we're very grateful for that. We have upwards of 400 kids who need bikes this Christmas, and we have until Friday, December 13th to make that happen. Unless we all step up, there'll be a whole lot of kids who wake up Christmas morning to find very little, if anything, under their tree. If you would, please talk to your family, friends, and coworkers. See if they'll pool their money together to buy just one bike for just one kid. That's all it takes. One bike at a time for one kid at a time. Remember, our deadline is Friday, December 13th. Cash donations can be dropped off at our studios at 200 North 10th. We accept checks, too. On behalf of the children, thank you for making their Christmas dreams come true.
Hey, I want to thank you for listening again today. I really appreciate it. I do. Merry Christmas, and it's 5 o'clock, KVFD, Fort Dodge, Iowa.
Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The House Judiciary Committee continues to debate articles of impeachment.
One issue lawmakers clashed over when New York Democrat Congressman Hakeem Jeffries suggested the president got caught when the whistleblower brought forward his complaint.
The president was caught red-handed, trying to pressure a foreign government to target an American citizen.
Texas Republican Congressman John Ratcliffe countered the whistleblower, and Democrats never expected the president to release a transcript of his call with Ukraine's president.
The president didn't get caught. The whistleblower got caught.
On Capitol Hill, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
The committee expected to vote on the articles tonight, with a full House vote expected next week. We're learning more about the suspects in Tuesday's deadly shootout in Jersey City, New Jersey. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Lisa, State Attorney General Gurbir Grewal says they are being careful with the information, but does in fact confirm
that we're investigating this matter as potential acts of domestic terrorism, fueled both by anti-Semitism and anti-law enforcement beliefs.
U.S. Attorney Craig Carpenito added that the target was the Jewish supermarket where the shooters killed 3 bystanders.
You could see people walking by. They didn't engage anyone. They were clearly targeting that store.
Authorities are trying to determine why. They are exploring the shooter's ties to a hate group, but they say no formal link has been established, Lisa.
Gernal, an exit poll in Britain's election projecting Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Conservative Party likely will win a majority of seats in Parliament that would allow him to go ahead with his plan to remove the UK from the European Union next month. Wall Street at the close, stocks closing at more record highs as traders hope the U.S. and China can work on a trade deal. Dow added 220, the NASDAQ rose 63. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Quicken Loans is celebrating our best quarter ever, and now we're celebrating some of the lowest refinancing rates ever. Rates are historically low. You may be able to reduce your rate and save money on your monthly mortgage payment right now. This is your chance. Pay off some credit card debt or put some money towards that new bathroom or kitchen you've always wanted. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%, APR 4.18%. That's right, 3.99%, APR 4.18%. While we can't predict what will happen in the future, we do know that rates have dropped, and now is the time to save money on your mortgage. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn how refinancing now may be the right mortgage solution for you. That's 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.375% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Made in the death of a Houston area police officer.
With your KVFD news update, I'm Rob Jones. 28-year-old Fort Dodge resident Blair Foy entered a guilty plea yesterday on charges of first-degree robbery and second-degree theft. The charges stem from an incident on September 14th where Foy allegedly pulled out a handgun and ordered the victim to get on his knees. Foy then allegedly took the man's car keys, over $300 in cash, and a cell phone. Authorities say Foy attempted to force the man into a vehicle with him, but the man escaped as another party that was present distracted Foy. The victim's cell phone was recovered from a vehicle Foy had been in on South Lucas Avenue in Eagle Grove. Both of the charges against Foy are felonies. He faces up to 15 years in prison for the two charges. Community Christian School of Fort Dodge will be having their third annual Holiday Craft Show and Vendor Fair this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event is on the campus of Community Christian School and is a free admission event. They will have 30 crafters and vendors there to showcase their products. All of the proceeds will go toward the creation of a scholarship fund at Community Christian School. In sports, college basketball on tap for tonight as the Iowa State Cyclones host the Iowa Hawkeyes tonight at Hilton Coliseum, a 7 p.m. tip-off. You can hear the Iowa call to the game on K97, and you can hear the Iowa State call on your home for the Iowa State Cyclones, True Country 540 KWMT. The UNI Panthers in action tonight as well, coming off a win against Colorado on Tuesday night. They'll be on the road taking on Grand Canyon University, an 8 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game on your home for Panther sports in North Central Iowa, KVFD, AM 1400. The Fort Dodge wrestling team in action tonight, hosting Des Moines North at 6:30. Tonight is senior night. The Dodger seniors will be honored before the meet. For KVFD from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. Mainly clear skies tonight with a low of 16. Northerly winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Cloudy skies tomorrow, mixed precipitation likely, high of 31. Chance for mixed precipitation again tomorrow night, lows dip down to about 12. Overcast, about an inch of snow tomorrow. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm staff meteorologist Derek Height. Currently, it's 22 degrees.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Starting off this hour is Josh in Ohio. Merry Christmas, Josh. How can we help?
Hey, Merry Christmas, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So my wife and I are a young married couple.
Okay, you're going to speak directly into your phone. You're breaking up.
Can you hear me fine now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my wife and I are a young married couple. We've been married about a year and a half, and I haven't went through financial peace or anything yet, but I've just now been listening to your podcast probably for like 6 months. And so obviously have really picked up on your strategy of financial peace, and obviously being a young married couple, want to secure that in our life. And we have a great opportunity right now. We've been renting, and obviously we're like a lot of young married couples. We want to buy a home, but we want to do it the right way. And we're about to move into the church's parsonage. They're going to give it to us as a youth pastor for free rent utilities. So what I'm wanting to know is, obviously we don't want to be ignorant with this opportunity. We want to take advantage of every time that we can save. So what do you advise what we should do with that money instead of now having to pay rent and utilities? That is like an automatic, like $800 a month savings.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Yeah. So have you? How much debt have you guys got?
None. We just have a small little medical bill of hers, and we're taking care of that right now. We have no student loans. Do
you have any emergency funds saved?
Yes, sir. We have right at $5,000 saved up.
Okay, I would raise that, and then I would start putting 15% of my income away for retirement, and above that, I'd start putting money in a separate mutual fund to buy a home with later, because the parsonage is not always going to be there, and there'll be a day 4 or 5 years from now that something else will happen, or you will be in a different church or take a senior pastor's role or something, and you'll be buying a home at some point. And so let's start saving beyond your 15% of your income going into retirement and beyond your emergency fund. Let's open a mutual fund, and we'll just call it the house fund, and build up as much money as you can build up in there. You can't have too much money in there, because you could just pay cash for a house if you got like crazy, right? Wow, that'd be crazy. But right now, the first goal is the emergency fund. The second goal is start putting 15% away for retirement. And then the third goal is build a house fund in a mutual fund, because you'll have to replace that parsonage there at some point. Julie is with us. Julie is in Wisconsin. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Hello. Good to talk to you. I just first wanted to tell you my pastor recommended I call you, and I've had a son-in-law that has taught your course numerous times. The reason I'm calling is because I have an appointment with a lawyer. I got married again 2 years ago. My husband passed away about 3 years ago. And anyway, me and my new husband are going to draw up a will.
Good.
And I'm finding it's a little bit more complicated than what I expected, in that he's got children and I have children. I was blessed. My husband left me debt-free after we sold all assets and sold the farm, and I also have a considerable amount of money put away.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you is, I have listened to some of your videos online, and I guess I don't know how to handle my family responsibilities. I have 3 adult children. I did, right after we got married, I did split the land up. I had roughly 700 acres of land, and I split it 4 ways, myself and my 3 children. And anyway, I guess I'm just looking for some advice as to how to go about this, and, of course, how to treat my husband with the love and respect that God would want me to treat him. And so, yeah, I just want to know what are my rights, freedoms, and according to the Bible.
Okay. Well, it is not a right or a moral obligation for you to leave this money to anyone in particular, especially if they are misbehaving in their lives, and therefore you'd be funding their misbehavior. In an extreme situation, you've got a grown kid doing heroin and you leave them $1 million, you pretty much signed their death warrant. Right. And so you wouldn't do that. It would be irresponsible. And they've lost the capacity to be a good manager of God's resources. And so you would not pass it to a child that is misbehaving in some way, because you would add to their misbehavior. So when you get money, what happens is it magnifies whatever's going on, good and bad, in someone's life.
Exactly.
If someone's a jerk and they get money, they become a colossal jerk. If someone is compassionate and loving and giving and they get money, they become a philanthropist, and they build orphanages and hospitals, and you get to see more of who someone is, good and bad, and that's true of all of us. The good and the bad that each of us have, right? So that's whatever your kids' good parts are, you're going to see more of them when you leave them some money, and your kids' bad parts, you're going to see more of that when you leave them some money. So just kind of keep that in the back of your head as you're putting this together. It sounds like you were married for 30 or 40 years.
30 years, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was guessing that. And then this remarriage is after your first husband has passed, is a wonderful blessing. You can do whatever you want to do. It just based on the number of years, probably you're going to lean towards the majority of this going to your children. That would be normal. Unless they're misbehaving.
Right. I will mention the fact that one thing my first husband said all the time we were together and farming was that his desire was to see that the land went to the children, and I agree with that, and I would honor his wishes. But I also want to be respectful of my second husband. I will also point out that he in no way, shape, or form married me for the situation I'm in, and would never want that.
That's fine.
To be,
So, I always recommend, I don't recommend prenups unless it's a situation like yours where there's a huge amount of money involved, because the huge amount of money makes things weird. But I would allocate some of the wealth to make sure that your new husband has a good, nice life, and probably the rest of it to your children. And if you move that acreage into your kids' names without some tax advice, you need to go get tax advice tomorrow. You might have just made a multi-$100,000 mistake in the way you did that. You can't just move a fourth of 700 acres into somebody's name without exposing yourself to gift tax. So make sure this estate planner can walk you through how to use the Unified Estate Tax Credit. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. In a season of giving, what better gift can you give someone in the coming year than a new job? Business leaders, if you're looking to add to your team in 2020, get started now with LinkedIn Jobs. At Ramsey Solutions, we post on LinkedIn Jobs because we know the right person will have an impact on our company for years to come. And LinkedIn Jobs matches the right person with the right job. It's no wonder a hire is made every 8 seconds on LinkedIn. And over 600 million members visit LinkedIn to make connections, learn and grow as professionals, and discover new job opportunities. So find the right person for your team and give the gift of a rewarding new career. Get started today and get $50 off your first job post. Visit linkedin.com/Ramsey. That's linkedin.com/Ramsey. Terms and conditions apply.
Christians have an affordable and credible way to meet their overwhelming healthcare costs. It's Christian Healthcare Ministries, the original health cost sharing ministry. A Better Business Bureau accredited organization, CHM members share to pay each other's medical bills. It's not insurance. It's Christians financially and spiritually supporting each other. It's what CHM has done for over 35 years. Learn more at chministries.org. That's chministries.org. Christian Healthcare Ministries is a proud sponsor of Dave Ramsey Live Events.
I've been telling you guys about eMeals for almost 11 years now. eMeals saves my listeners time and money. I'm talking around 2 hours a week and an average of over $2,000 a year. That's amazing. Not to mention that they make meal planning incredibly easy with their shopping list generator and the option to have your groceries gathered up for pickup or delivery right from the eMeals app. Sign up for a free 2-week trial today at eMeals.com.
Radio Iowa News is presented by the Iowa Department of Public Safety Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau. Wearing a seatbelt increases your chances of surviving a crash by 45%. It only takes 2 seconds to buckle up.
Good evening. I'm Dar Danielson. The panel that forecasts state revenue says we'll take in a little more tax money than what they expected 2 months ago. Department of Management Director Dave Roederer is one of the 3 panel members.
That doesn't mean that we should look at everything going gangbusters, but it is actually a little stronger growth.
That means the governor will have about $230 million more dollars in the budget for this year. Leaders of Iowa's largest businesses are urging Iowa lawmakers to address the lack of affordable housing and childcare in the state. The Iowa Business Council says they're not endorsing any specific proposal at this time. Amount of money bet on sports in Iowa increased again in November. Racing Gaming Commission says a little more than $59.3 million spent on sports betting in the month. That's nearly $13 million more than October and the most spent thus far. Radio Iowa, I'm Dar Danielson.